Hey guys, welcome back to another video here. We've got another podcast. So last week we talked about what we were maybe expecting from regionals. For us, of recording day, regionals was yesterday when the video came out. We also have, we've got the usual suspects. We've got Shadow Laughter, we've got Trevor, we've got Amy. We also have a friend that was meant to join us on the last podcast but couldn't because of reasons. We have Shiro joining us. Or, however, do you want to be known as Shiro? Do you want to be known as Chris? What do you want?
I don't know.
Okay.
Call him whatever you want.
We're just going to say Shiro just because we're
Call it for dinner.
So we've done regionals and stuff. So we'll get some stuff quickly out of the way, and then we'll talk about experiences. I managed to get top 8 with my deck, and Use3 went into the team event and got top 4, and Shiro made top 64 in terms of get those results out of the way, and we'll talk about our experiences round by round. First of all, though, did everyone enjoy regionals? Did we all have a good time?
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, it was good.
That was a good time.
Awesome.
Good. Absolute blast. I still think yous were crazy going into the locals on the Friday night.
Just had 60-person locals there who could be.
I mean, the thing is, it kind of paid off for you because you got all your bad hands and stuff out of the way before regional.
Yeah.
I told you were, and you weren't believing me either.
I
You're like,
picked up
no,
on
no.
that,
You should have maybe played in the locals.
It
Instead,
didn't work out for me.
instead we.
My worse.
Instead, while these two were playing in locals, we went to the pub next door and had some drinks.
Highly recommend Venom.
Venom's so good.
Venom.
And we don't mean the movie. Right, so going into round 1, how confident were we all feeling at that point?
I don't care somewhere around
Yeah.
100. After all,
I
we were
think
still
so.
here.
Yeah. I think everyone was pretty happy.
I would say pretty confident going to round 1 personally. Like, okay, I feel like I've got this. I really did feel like round 1 and round 2 was going to be like, this is going to set the tone. Like, these 2 rounds are going to set the tone going forward.
Dippy.
Yeah. So round 1, I went against Mirage. I just made them struggle. I don't remember every big play of every deck I went against. I remember some small plays. I'm not gonna lie, half of my matchups were mirror matches, and they're all blending together that I'm not gonna remember exactly.
Yeah,
like,
they all just become the one
mirror
guy.
match number 1. I can't remember the big thing that determined it because what I remember could be mirror match number 4 type thing. They just all blended in.
You see enough Imperial Dread, they all look the same.
Yeah.
He
Literally,
gives it more than most.
Yeah.
by the end of the day, it felt like the Lee Evans joke where they teach you maths in school. Like, they kind of give you a rhythm, like 2 1s are 2. And like, you go to a rhythm to the point where he makes a joke about accountants when like you leave the accountant's room, like yeah. It honestly felt like that would appeal to by the end of the day, where it's like X-V-Mon, Sting-Mon, Ding, and it's just like I never want to see Pilter again.
And you were the one who was playing it.
I was playing it.
What Lumi doesn't tell you is he was so much playing the mirror, it was actually him twice in the top 16.
But no, so Mirage, I felt worried the moment I realized in Mirage, like, okay, this has got OTK potential. This is how my day is gonna go. Oh no. I felt worried. And it didn't help when I got to DNA into my level 5 without jamming, and it really felt like this is gonna be the tone for the day. Oh no. And then
Piltramon deck. That's impressive.
But I looked at my hand and I had Hexablow in it, and I'm like, Mirage can't build a big line at 1. So I've DNA'd with 2 rookies, the egg and everything, like Hexablow, and it just stopped all their plays. They had to try and counter around Hexablow to the point where they got to a point where they could comfortably play a brown Hexablow. They put me on 4 memory, and they had an ace in their sources, and I just went Digivolve over Hexablow for 6 into Paladin mode, crashing your ace to overflow free keep turn, and then just left them on 0 security from there, and they came to their turn. They had to hatch that turn because they just recently raised, so they had nothing in back, they had nothing on field, they had 0 security. I had a Wormmon in back ready to raise, like, they had 0 answer, so I managed to progress from there, and I felt lucky, to be honest. I was like, game 2 will decide the day, I think. So Trevor, because we've got everyone's listed, your round 1 was against Red Hybrid.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Honestly-
Any memorable plays.
It just felt like it was a race to outpace the opponent. Like we were both just like leaving nothing on board. I think the big thing that like turned it around was when he played the Pokemon and I got the bounce at the hand, bounce the security to hand, and like keep swinging through. Like that kind of changed the tone. Honestly, it's not really that different from my own deck. It's just
I will say, we'll get to it when we get to it, but I think the most impressive / funniest play of the day that I'm aware of came from one of your games. But we'll get to that when we get to it.
We will. That was like round 3.
Yeah,
I think you're thinking of.
No, that was round 4.
4, yeah.
So you're round 1. You were
It's
against
a long day.
You were against Red Hybrids. Any memorable stuff you remember from that?
Mostly it was, again, like you say, it was just setting the tone for it. It was obviously against decks. It's very aggro going into a very defensive deck. So I was just trying to make sure I was stopping all their attacks going through. And most of the time, their bodies were just not staying on board. The one memorable thing I remember is my opponent made a misplay against me, and they went into the old BT3 or something, Ancient Grey, the pure red one. Tried to get a load of swings in, but I blocked and then protected myself from deletion and everything. And then they tried to go Ruin mode on top, and it actually took me like a second to like, because I'm so used to Ruin mode, I'm just like, oh, Ruin mode, that's fair, fine. No, couldn't do Ruin mode. It's a pure red level 6. Can't digivolve at the top. And I'm like, wait, how'd you do this? And from there, he couldn't do anything else afterwards.
Yeah. Also, to just quickly mention, because I just haven't yet. So obviously this is for the main tournament. Just quickly decks we play. So I was playing Pildra, Blue Hybrids. Even on this thing, it says you're playing Yellow Hybrids.
It says Yellow Hybrids, but no, it was definitely Ancient.
Ancient Garuru Red Base. You were on Dexduro. We had Amy on Machindra, and you were playing Omnizoo, which
Omnizoo, mother, come on.
He was playing Rapid.
Limitless says you were playing Rapidmon, even though the only form of Rapidmon in your deck was
level 5.
Two
the level 5
Rapidmons.
Rapidmons that Digivolve. That was the only form of Rapid in your deck, but your deck was Rapidmon.
There's 2 Mega Gargos in it too.
There was about 20 Dark Master cards and like 12 Omnimons, but Rapidmon, yeah.
Right. And for some reason, I remember for your deck, the weird thing was they had to specify it wasn't just Machindra, it was Black Machindra. Like,
is there other Machindras?
apparently.
Must be a red one somewhere.
And
Probably could.
it didn't come up for your deck, but the other was because you were on the purple variant. But on the black variant, Limitless, we're calling it Black X
That's
Antibody.
the weird thing, because like Cheryl will tell you, he went against a variant later on that we'll get to, but it was the purple base like mine, but they labeled it Black X Antibody.
Okay.
So there's no consistency.
So next we have Amy's round 1. You were against Gallant. Any memorable stuff from it?
They never got up to Gallon.
No, you never talked out today. That is certainly a memorable thing.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, they never got to Gallant. Sure.
If they heard her say that now, they're definitely dropping from the tournament.
They're actually spending work on
Which,
them.
I should also point out, up until this point, it's like, Mirage, you expect that. Red Hybrid. So what were you against? Gallant.
I think.
It could have been Gallon. It could have been Birds.
It
It could have been Wargreymon for all she knows.
She never let them get to there.
Well, but yeah, Gallant was just, I think that as well as, I mean, your round 1 is kind of a deck that you'd maybe expect, but Gallant is probably by far the most out there deck in terms of the main tournament.
I don't know, there's a couple of people on Hunters.
Well, from what we went against, in terms of the main tournament, from what we went against, Gallant was probably the most out there deck.
Yeah. No, like, as long as I knew it's
Well,
it's because of
no,
the
I don't know about that.
DA-based
Well, I mean,
relation. That was it.
Shiro's round 1 I wouldn't say it's a completely out there deck because it has some people that have been still continuously playing. Because don't forget, it recently had a promo that added for a popularity.
It did pop
So-
recently.
So you're round one. You're
Fuel
against
Force.
Fuel Force. Any memorable stuff?
Not really. I think it was maybe his first time actually seeing the Dark Masters deck, but to be honest, every person I went against
Thing,
was sort of like awesome.
Yeah.
What is this doing?
What is
Can
this?
I read this card?
what are they also running the Sora and Joe? The Fuel Force?
That we saw that at the.
Yeah.
They were? I thought
I think so. Yeah.
Same person,
It
then.
must have been the same person,
Maybe.
but yeah,
Well, there
that
isn't
really
that
caught me out. Like.
There isn't that many All Force players. Like, they're a rare breed.
I'm on board with the Sora and Joe though.
so.
You
Also,
love Joe.
just to briefly mention, so round one, we all won.
Yeah.
We all run out round ones.
On a high from there.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's all looking bright.
Yeah. So.
Adam jinxed us, by the way.
Yeah.
So-
Win round one, get all the confidence for the day.
So going into round two, we'll go back the way around. So Shiro, you were against. I can never pronounce the name. Fenri Takamikizuchi.
Yeah.
You got it.
You got
I got it. But yeah, you were
Then it
against
took
that.
us.
You were against that. Any memorable stuff?
I was kind of scared like halfway through the game because the person playing it was either sort of new to the deck or maybe a bit nervous or something. So we got about halfway through the game. I thought, oh, this is going to go to time or something. It's going to be a draw. So at that point, I just like, okay, I just have to swing every single turn. There was a really big moment in the game where I went into like merciful mode. And I decided to bottom deck every one of her level 7s.
Oh.
Actually, I was picking out 10, and I was just, because I'd never played against her, I was going through all the cards, like, okay. And then I got halfway through, and I just realized, oh wait. And she heard me say, oh wait. And I was like, this has a trash effect on it. I was like, well, okay, I'll bottom deck all of these. Yeah, I just, at that point, I got too far ahead, and yeah.
And that was a win for you. Amy, your game two, you were against Magna. Now, a lot of people are going to immediately think, oh, Shindra versus Magna, this can't be a great matchup.
Well, they got their hand, they mulliganed, and pretty much I can't even remember what I did first, but they ended up just having to play 3 Vmons, and Ricky rushed me, so I got a bit worried by that. And then I immediately got my machine drill line out, and they skipped.
So they're like, nope, not for me.
No, I'm scared of this. I'm out.
No, because I think it was like a turn after, maybe I got it, and then I killed them all, and then like I immediately trashed like 2 of their security, and everything was gone off board, and they're like, yeah, no, that's it.
So that was a win for you.
Yep.
Round 2 for Adam. Demon Lords. You were against Demon Lords.
Yeah, there was a point where it was going kind of back and forth for most of the game. Obviously Demon Lords is very tricky to play against because they can really easily remove boards. I don't think they saw Shoto against me, so they never got like blockers up or anything. But like what ended up being the deciding factor was near the end, I was getting close to time, and I was kind of like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get through their security. I don't think they can get through to their Agudo play, because they weren't seeing the Agudo until like very, very late on. I'm like, this might be a draw. And it got to like the last few minutes, I'm like, that's probably what I'm going to have to play for at this point. So what ended up happening was I went into Dorgora, swung at their security, but collision triggers, and they had an Agudo that they just, I think, hard digivolved. So it was there on the board, and obviously I died because I'm lower. I'm only like 13k into their 16, and I go into the decks from trash. And absentmindedly, because it's the last few seconds on the clock, I was just like, D-Digivolve 3, pop all your lowest. What I should have done was count their sources and D-Digivolve what I needed to. But the D-Digivolve 3 landed on a Lumus Chaos mode, which then popped out a Leviathan from trash, and then killed my stacks. And from there, they were able to just Ogudo at the end of my turn and then just kill me.
Yeah, Demon Lords is definitely one of those decks where it's like, you need to be on top at every point, because their plays are so intricate, tricky, they've got plays for every moment. I feel like you need to be constantly like aware of everything they're doing.
There's so much interaction, like, on such weird timings, where it's like, again, just because of the last few seconds, I was so absent-minded and rushing to try and maybe, like, score the same amount of security, but, like, nah.
But ultimately, so you lost that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah.
hell?
Trevor, you're on to you against Impildra.
Yeah, that was fun.
What you didn't want to see.
I knew I was going to see it, but when you start off a game and you win the die roll, you go first, you digivolve, you set up your tamer, you're like, okay, it's over to them. They hatch a demi V. They go V1, cost of 4, leaving you on 1, throw down the flipping dual tamer Davison Ken. You're just like, oh, I am in for trouble.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, at that point, I just knew I'd rush through the security as quick as possible, so it was raise, swing as quickly as possible, draw the cards, digivolve, go up my line to... It wasn't ancient because I had no room. I went to Jet Selfie and recovered one to bring me to 6 security because I thought at least I have an extra hit there. It died in the security check. I ended my turn by playing another tamer, and they raised and went up their line, took 3, I think, out of my security. And then from there, went back to my turn. They went into the fighter mode, bottom deck my swing. I was like, right, well, I'm just going to digicross into the flipping ancient, because otherwise there's nothing else I can do here at the minute. May as well get the overflow. Got the overflow, went back to them, and they proceeded to go up their stack again. At that point, they sort of...
The ticket they had partition?
Yeah, they had the partition, so it did divide into the 2. So they went up a stack again, though, and they had basically... The Impildramon, they had like 2 level 4s. I had enough security to survive the 2 checks on this. They went up to fighter mode. They swung fighter mode unsuspended, swung fighter mode, and I was praying for the Crimson Blaze, and it just didn't come up. And they have 1 security left at the end of all that, and it was like 1 more turn because I had the full line in hand to go bounce your security, hit for game, but
No, it was pretty close.
it was very close. Like she just about took it with just the memory that she had gained through that play, but it was literally that close you couldn't even.
I'm just checking so real quick for these references.
What's the numbers of Impildras?
So, 1... 2. Collectively, the 4 of you, including the main event and team event, you went against 3 Impilders.
Well, I went against 2. I won against 1 in the team event as well.
That's what I'm saying. Collectively, in the main and team event, the 4 of you collectively went against 3 Impilders.
We didn't see it.
No.
Yeah, they just got lucky. The Impildras.
I was really ready
I
for
would
it.
have looked in him here.
Me, on the other hand...
Well, anyway, say about you.
So, round 2, I went against Rapid. Rapid X.
Mm.
You're
not,
not.
not your Rapid, actual Rapid. It was actually a local type thing, and you actually went against them in the team event, I believe. It was the person when I came over, and they were like, "Oh, your machine thing doesn't matter. We've got the out and stuff." And then
Was it the guy?
you won on time, and then the guy put the Quartzmon down, and that last. I believe that she was my Rapid player. In round
Oh, damn.
two. Yeah, that's who I went against round 2. She was playing Rapid. I believe it was her. I could be misremembering, but I believe it was her. And they were informing me about how the Searcher Terriermon, the one that searches for 2 colors in a Henry,
Yeah.
had been doing them dirty all day, practicing and everything all day yesterday, the day before, because it was finding Henry quite a good bit of the time, but it could never find a 2 color.
That's so bad.
They put because they told me this because they played it and they told me the story and they were right. Okay, gonna do the effect. look at top 4, no Henry, no 2-color.
Oh.
They just couldn't get to anything, and I managed to get myself into positions where it's like, right, well, we're gonna get rid of this. Like, I remember like the rapid, like they swung with a rapid mon to like, they did. There was the one where it's like when it becomes suspended minus DP to the Digimon and security and stuff, and they hit dual tamer and stuff, which allowed me to pop off a bit. And but from there and stuff, I believe I somehow bottom decked the rapid mon before I swung. So it's just like, right, I'm just not going to even give you the chance to go ace on this or anything like that. And I just took complete control of the game. Like, they just weren't never in a position to make a comeback against me. Like, it was just, this is my game. I went through a bunch of security turn 1, like, of my plays. And then, like, my next turn was going to be like, I'm going through the rest of it game for game. So they had to, like, come up with something. Just never in a position to. So I just dominated that and won.
Yeah.
Going into round 3 for me. We start what I call the nightmare. It was a miracle. And I don't, like say, all the mirror matches are blended in one. So I don't remember anything memorable about specifically round 3. I remember in one of my many mirror matches, I won, quite a few of them. I won because my opponent was either looking for the X field or looking for this thing. They couldn't find the colour source. They had one colour in the back and they were searching for the other colour and just couldn't find it. And there were points where they've done plays that I've done in the past where, like, look, it's been so long, surely the search will get me it, so we'll raise, get the search going, and still don't see it.
And then you're just left there, and it's like, I wish I did nothing.
And from that point, it's just like, right, well, I have the play, I can guarantee it, so I'm going to do my play, and because you've now raised and you've left all this on board, I'm going to start playing cleanup.
Yeah, that happened a lot.
So, from there, I just took a lot of the mirror matches games. So, just to get over it, round 3 and 4 were mirror matches, so we don't go into my round 4, just because, like I say, a lot of the rounds, the mirror matches blend together. So my round 3 and 4 were both mirror matches. So we'll go into everyone else's round 3 as now. So Trevor, you were against Mirage.
Which version of Mirage?
Chicago. The OTK one. It's like just
The pure one.
pure blue OTK potential. I was fucking. I opened up my hand, I looked at it, and I was like, oh no. From there, though, they didn't seem to be able to find their pieces either. So they become sort of
A brickfest.
it kind of became a brickfest, and finally I seen a hybrid, and I was like, okay, we're all good, we can do things. Started doing some things. They raised the next turn. They dropped a level 5 and they swung. Or no, they dropped level 4. Sorry, they swung with their main line. They dropped level 4 for 7. I was feeling pretty confident. Went back up, points are level 4. Swung, got them down to 0 security, and then the nightmare began. Basically, that passed the turn, and they just went Digivolve the Mirage, and I was like, oh, now I'm kind of fucked. I realized after the game, because they swung through all 5 of my security and hit me for game in 1 turn. I then realized after the game I was an idiot. Because instead of bouncing their level 5, I could have probably memory choked them by digivolving to my Beowulfmon and saying, that stat can't suspend.
To be fair, you were rather new to that Beowulf.
I was, but I realized that after the game. I was like, no!
And also had practically 0 practice with it because of how little time you had.
Yeah, honestly though,
Dude should have came to locals.
if I had played it and I'd stopped the stack suspending, I would have probably won that game from there, but I didn't.
That was a loss for you.
Unfortunately.
To be fair, you
That's
probably
gonna
didn't
feel
think you would
familiar.
get 5 security checks on that.
I didn't think they were going to get 6 swings in 1
Yeah.
turn, no, that is true.
That is what
Without even hitting Ice Wall, Hammer Spark, Crimson Blade.
No, none of your one.
Hit literally none of the security.
But that's what Mirage does at MTKs. So, speaking of Mirage round 3, hello! Mirage round 3.
Yay!
We had the same round 1 and the same round 3. What can we do?
I have no idea. Again, it was pure Mirage. It was actually a quite back and forth matchup, given the circumstances. I was able to like keep going into new lines from the raising through different methods like analog use and all, just hatching eggs and just constantly have something in the back. It proved useful. There was a point where I made another silly mistake. I got into a ruin mode stack.
I was actually watching this.
Which held them all for a couple turns. Or at least one turn, because I digivolved into it minus 5k. It didn't do anything, they just digivolved up to a level 5 in the back. And then on my next turn, I swang with the ruin mode stack. I swung into security. At the end of attack, I had the Dex Dora Grey. I had a Dora Grey stack, the ruin mode, and then a Dex Dora Grey in the ruin mode's inheritables. So I attempted to use the Dex Dora Grey to pop the Dora Greymon to try and get the other Dex Dora Grey from trash to digivolve onto it, so I'd have it in the same line again, so I'd still have that inheritable. That unfortunately didn't happen because part of that play required me to trash the one in hand to put it in the trash to digivolve, and I forgot that step. It was not in trash, it was in my hand squarely, and I was just looking through my trash and I'm going, I missed that step. I didn't think it was going to do me over that much because I had analog use, so I was gaining memory, so I thought, okay, at the very least, I've got hatch and then minus 5k. It should be fine. I was sort of low on cards in deck at that point, but I was
the
like,
downside on them analog. Yeah, that's
I was kind of like, I should still be able to hold off for a turn here.
I'll be honest, I watched as you went. With your deck, just a simple hand motion and then back.
Yeah, at that point when I looked at cards in deck, I had like 5 or 6 and I was going, I can make this work. I can get another turn out of this, but this is scary. The ruin mode, like minus 5k, it recovered me one.
I did 4 cards in deck.
I think that's what put me to 5. I think I did it after the ruin mode. So
okay.
it got them down to 5k. They raised on their next turn, and they were like, minus 5k, right? And they were like, and I was like, yeah, you're minus 5k. So their stack was 2k, because like I say, it was into a mock, and they were kind of like him and Han, but overall they decided to swing because they had jam in the line. They were like, I don't really care if I'm 2k, I'm jamming, what am I going to hit? And they hit Trident Arm, and I did Digivolves it, and then they died from DP reduction. And then they had nothing. They had nothing in raising, nothing on board. They were slightly worried, so they did some more setup in the back.
Really? You had nothing on board at that point?
I had something in the back because I did hatch. I hatched with my analog, so I did have something. So I was able to raise, bring up my. I think I got up to a level 5, ready for. I eventually ended my turn on a level 5, with like 1 card left in deck, and what they did was they just meter impact it back to my hand. I drew my last card, and then I played out my turn, like, and then
I believe it was I play analog youth to pass the turn.
Yeah, I had no cards in deck, and I was just like looking through, see what I can do. I don't have Digimon on board. I don't know what I'm doing here.
See,
At least you went down
Analog
youth.
see,
with no cards in deck.
the 5k from room mode probably maybe saved you, because the problem with Mirage is Mirage has a backup play that they can do, where it's like, okay, I maybe can't OTK you, but I have that many Digimon that say we both draw a card.
Yeah, they tried to play it.
That if
They played it, and then there was actually a spectator. Probably shouldn't have been, but it just wouldn't that die, like under his breath. And before I even got a chance to say to say it wouldn't be there, and the guy would just go, oh, for fuck. Yep, Can't do that.
Immediate judge call. It's already on board.
He didn't do anything with it. He just played it, and then
No, if you look at the card, don't sit on board. I would have judge called.
I was decked out. I was already resigned.
To be fair, there was a judge watching because you
Yeah.
had entered time by the time you
Yeah.
got
The
there.
judges were quite lenient that day.
They were.
overall.
Yeah, they were.
I was happy enough. I was
They were
like,
very lenient.
It was overall
That's
fun
another
game,
point
so.
I actually forgot about the Guildra match. I did get judge called.
What?
So I digivolved over a tumor when they were in dragon mode.
They tried
Oh,
to drag
They tried to dragon mode event. I was like, you can't. I was like, this is alternative Digivolve.
Fair.
The judge did side with me, just for
Yeah.
anyone watching.
So, next round 3 for Amy. Fenrir Takamaki Suji.
It was going well, and then I lost my cast line to the Takamika Suchi. So I basically got out a Machindra, put 500, because I was like, okay, it does the DP thing. This can be DP produced. Awesome, keep it out. And then I was left on 0 memory. And then I made the very, very silly mistake of digivolving over it with 1, because I was like, in my head, all the rest of the options were really expensive. And I didn't think she could go into it again, because it's obviously digivolve 3. So I think in my head I was just like, okay, what's the chances she can do that all again? And then it happened, and I was like, okay. It was very, very embarrassing, because I didn't want to do it. I just sort of auto-played it, and it was really bad.
But again, we all make mistakes and stuff, especially like, you gotta consider.
Mostly in rank 3 by the signs of
I
it.
mean, the thing to consider, this was your first ever big regionals of a card game, never mind Digimon.
Yeah.
Like, of a card game in general, this is like your first ever big regionals. So, there's a lot of pressure on there, like, even subconscious pressure type thing. So, misplays are gonna happen, mistakes are gonna happen, and it's all perfectly natural. That goes to like anyone watching type thing. Like if you go to your first, like, I always say, if your first big tournament, don't go in to win. Go for the experience. Go for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Your second, third, fourth, whatever, whichever one you want afterwards, that be the one you go with the goal of winning.
Or just go in so cocky that when you do lose so much, that it feel like
You made the joke so much, like, oh my god, open the door, I'm gonna.
I believe it was me and Shiro made that joke.
I made it a lot.
Because Shiro was always making the joke, and I was like, what are you talking about, Shiro? You're talking to the winner.
I should put it into the universe.
What deck do you think you're gonna win? Well, I'm sitting right here, guys.
Send out good vibes, they come back. Or cocky vibes, one of the two.
I also like on as well that you just not bring your mag cases for your Omnimons after the tournament.
We'll get that in a moment. So yeah, but I mean the thing is as well, even after you made the misplay stuff, like your opponent was very much like realizing and stuff
She
like.
felt horrible.
She
about
felt to the point where you felt so bad about it, and your opponent was just like, here, let me give you a card.
it. Yeah, she gave me a
Didn't
little.
they give you like a promo Agumon or
She
something?
gave me like a little
No, it was
illustrated art.
it was the
Agumon
Agumon
thing?
with the Digivice thing.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was this special set of artworks where like it was Digimon, like so the Greymon's got one and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like the original B-Pets, you know? Like I've got one over there with the War Greymon thing.
Yeah.
The thing that I go with, like for those that play Digimon Mode 1, that V-Pet thing, there was a whole series of artworks where that V-Pet was in it and stuff, like so there's a Metal Greymon coming out of the artwork and stuff, and like I said, there's an Agumon one, and she give you one of those.
Yeah, she felt so bad.
Some of those actually have a pretty price tag. So I don't know about the Agumon, but some of them from that illustration set actually have a price tag to them. But yeah, and then we go on to Shiro's round 3. Purple Dex Dura. Well, I was going to point out with it. So you were a loss against Mirage, and Amy was a loss against that. But yeah, so Purple Dex Duro for round 3 Shiro. Anything memorable?
Yeah, that's the one deck I didn't want to go against.
Knows it all too well.
I mean, speaking of Dex Duro,
So my whole deck's idea is I have a lot of tamer removal in the form of like Sword to Fate,
Almost like you want to go against me.
Grand Quagga, Ultra B, but you know, Dexter Gore just likes to play the tamers from the trash anyway.
That's
Uh,
cool. It's
It
dead.
was
I
a-
wanted there anyway.
It was a pretty close game. The problem with the deck store is I can get bigger than my mother, which is a little bit of a problem because I can get up to 16k from the level 4 inheritable. Is it 16k?
It depends on how many are stacked under it. They have capabilities of like stacking.
I think it definitely got bigger than mother at one point.
You
Well,
can
when
comfortably
you're in
get to
deck store.
14k. It takes effort to get above that, but
Well,
it's
even then with
doable.
Alliance
It's
and
doable.
stuff as
With
well.
Alliance,
Yeah,
with Alliance, it's fully doable.
Alliance was the problem in this game. Well, it came to my benefit as well in one of my games, but yeah, it was quite a close game until maybe his last turn. He just kind of cleaned my board with collision, and I had one memory left with me at 0 security and had Calm from Darkness, so unsuspended Dexter and hit me for game. But
I would say part of Dexter's thing as well is against Mother. It's just like, cool, you can have Mother be a blocker. I'm gonna tell you when it blocks. So that's kind of how we get over it.
I suppose we all have to go through round 4 as you don't.
Yeah, I mean,
Talk
we're
about
going back around anyway. So round 4 for Shiro was Mirage Nova. Mirage,
Grace Nova Mirage.
the Grace Nova stuff, and it's got Mirage top end, but it also has Hexablow top end as well.
yeah, they did have a Hexblow as well on the deck. I don't really remember much about the deck. I think I got a little bit ahead at the start. With everyone I went against, they didn't know what I was actually playing.
Yeah. No one knows what you were playing.
Yeah, so like, before I went to the region, I was like, well, it's the best one, so I kind of wanted a bit of an element of surprise.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't name your deck Other.
Yeah,
Like, what do you call it?
yeah, I don't think they knew what they were going against. I got ahead
It is
pretty
kind of shocking how many
early.
people were surprised, like, what is this deck? When it's like, I feel like Omni Zoo was pretty
Picked up a
relevant.
cult following, it's okay.
Like, I feel like Omni Zoo was like a pretty relevant deck, and to find out so many people were just like, what is this?
And say you picked up a cult following.
Yeah, I had a couple of people around me at one point, like, give me fist bumps, and I'm like, oh, I'm so proud of you.
In fact, by the end of the day, I had people, like, I beaten people and their friends would come around, like, oh, did you win? No. It's like, oh, how good, you're letting us down. And they're going to me, good on you, though. And they're checking on me, like, still winning yet? Come on.
The thing is with your deck though, Shira, I feel like the reason people didn't know it very well is because it really was the amalgamation of like 3 different Omnis. You had the Dark Masters, the Mother Shoto in it,
Yeah,
the other like ace combos for like Mother Control. It was like
that's the thing as well. The deck,
massively
like,
wild.
you pretty much run every good ace in the deck,
Oh.
so you never know what you have.
I feel the issue of not having.
Yeah.
There's probably still more you could have put in. Like you didn't have Valkyrie ace. That would have maybe been a decent one to have in.
I think during these matchups, like, I went against Mirage 3 times. The Rapid Mon, which is what my deck's named after, came up quite good, well, because Shoto makes it unbounceable and you can't bottom deck or delete it.
No, so one of the things I will say that I found amusing from the day, I actually got pretty well known by the end of it. Not because of decks or how well I was doing or how many people I beat. My notification sound
Yeah.
On your phone.
on my
Your
phone.
notification sign was like in the airport. Connor used it to find us as well. He just heard it from behind you and
It
scared
was
us.
like, let me message in the group chat. Doom.
I hear a
Echolocation.
Digimon
Cool. We're going due northwest.
So no, there'd be points where like I'd sit down and stuff, and obviously I'm putting my phone down and stuff, get the limitless and everything up, and then like the WhatsApp would go off or something, and my phone's like with the Digivice sound. It's like, oh, that's you, and I'm getting people. It's happening to you all day.
I even asked you about it on the day, like, what is that sound that always comes from your phone?
It's the sound of the Digivice sound they made. So when they were originally teasing the Digimon Tri movies,
Yeah.
the trailer was just like a date with that sound going and that was it. And that was the teaser. I'm like, and it eventually came out. That was the sound of the Digivice. Like that's the sound. Like that's the the new sound for it and stuff for the Tri movies. Like instead of making it like the old one, so a bit more high definition soundy compared to what it was before. I was like, okay, fair enough. I was like, you know what? That sounds like a perfect text tone. Downside is phones these days, where you used to be able to like, I'll set that as my text. I'll set that as notification. I'll set like you can set sounds with different things. these days phones are just like, what do you want notifications of everything to be? It's just like, so that's it. So it's like, people are like, oh, is that someone Twitch? It's like, oh look, no, it's just people going live on Twitch. No, just my emails. No, it's just some random news. It's just like, you never know what it is. It's just, that's what phones do these days. It's like, that's just my notification sound now. So, like, yeah, I got pretty known by the end of the day because of my notification. There was actually points where there was some people talking about, like, they went against me or they watched the match. And they were talking about me. But I didn't know they were talking about me. Like, I'd be coming, like, from the lobby into the show, into the convention floor. And my phone goes off before I went to the door. And so I enter the door, the guy sits around, there he is! It's just like, I just got known by my notification sound. But yeah, so that was just kind of a funny thing.
I will say the MVP in all these Mars matchups was Machinery one. In the racing. Like, the main reason I made the deck was because D-Digital is really strong at the moment, and this deck has a lot of D-Digital.
All I'm going to say is the MVP of the entire trip was Red Cola. I got
Sponsored by.
Oh.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Look,
I'm joking.
If I want to be sponsored by anyone, there's a certain lovely brand.
Well, we know where their company, their thing.
No, they don't get that much free promotion.
We know where their factory is over here. It's okay.
So yeah, so Mirage Nova, you beat your round 4-1. Then we go to Amy's round 4, Red Hybrids.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I won against like all my red hybrids today, which like I wasn't surprised. Like, well, no, I was surprised because I didn't want to go against any hybrids. But red hybrids really struggles against Machine Draw because of the deletion effect, and it's just like, yeah, you can try do your big play, but
it ain't no ancient Garurumon bouncing the hand.
I'm still here,
Yeah.
guys.
It's just like, okay, you can try to delete it, but your stuff's gone now. So now you just have an open board and tears
Honestly,
for me to delete.
I must say she is so right about that with red hybrids, because like even when I'm on blue hybrids as well, if my agent stays around, if they go up their line and they go to delete something, they end up deleting the agent, getting me on deletion. So
Yeah.
it is actually a down point in their favor.
Yeah, so round 4 for you was a win.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point you're on 3-1 with Machine Draw.
It was incredible.
It was brilliant.
Oh.
Round 4. Oh, we're doing round 4?
Yeah, we're round 4.
Ancient Guru for you. Now, there's one memorable thing about this, and I think it's the best, funniest play of the day.
Ancient Guru was it's always a hard match in general. Sometimes against Trevor, it was like pretty 50-50, like, but
I don't know, at the
we
airport.
practiced at the airport and he beat me like 3 times in a row, no problem. I'm like, I just beat you like 5 days ago, like, easily, like, what's happening? So when I went up against him this round, like, I wasn't playing badly, the deck wasn't really playing badly, it was kind of seeing what it needed to. It's just that he really beat me really quick. Like, he just went through my security super quickly. He saw basically all of the quickest things and rushed me down. I think I lost within like 4 turns. It was 25-minute timer, and like I think genuinely I lost with like 15 minutes on the clock. So it was just kind of like, again, I wasn't playing badly that game. I was doing everything correctly. I didn't make any mistakes. It just bad luck. One thing I will say, the play that he's referring to, or the thing that happened was, at one point I didn't have any Digimon on board. I was just trying to set up in the back, set up my tamers, training, thing like that. So I had no Digimon for their ancient stack to bounce. So they did their ancient play, they swung, Digivolve, nothing to bounce, just hitting the security. And I'm like, cool, that's 1 extra security card I'll have than usual. Do the security check, it's calling from darkness, adds the hand, triggers the ancient guru, all turns, bounce your turn, bounce the next security, I get it anyway. And I know for a fact that, I don't know if I would have won, but if I had got another turn with that extra security card being there, I maybe would have had a bit of a comeback. I was done dirty by calling, and I can't take that out, that's too good.
You were done dirty by your own deck.
I was so sad.
What version of the deck was it against? Like
Uh,
blue base or red base or.
It was a red base list. It was the Muchos and everything. They ran a couple floodgates out, if I remember.
I
correctly. They had
think-
Galtumon and things like
I
that,
did feel like I should.
which actually did hold me back a minute. They
I
did
feel
hold
like
me
I should
back.
have kept the floodgates in mind. I feel like that was a mistake taking
I
them
think
out.
so.
I warned you.
I realized that when we were playing, but anyway.
So, round 4 for Trevor, you were against Rapid.
Oh yeah, Rapid, yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
We kept seeing you all day.
No, Rapid was an interesting one. Like, I felt like I was in control most of the game. Then they got up this line to Rapid X and deleted a lot and swung through a security bit. And I was like, right, how do I deal with this? Because he got himself to a point where he was sitting on Rapid X. He had a Rapidmon here, and he had a Terramon in the back. And I was like, I can't deal with this just yet. I just didn't have the cards in hand, and I was like, screw it, I'm going to learn from my mistakes. So I took the Kendo, I took the Lobo, and I Digivolved to the Beowulf, and I went, your Rapidmon can't suspend to the end of your turn. Your Rapid Axe.
Pretty
So
solid.
when Ron to his turn, he didn't have another Rapid Axe, so he couldn't suspend his Rapid, so he just went through the things and set up more of a board, which actually went in my favor. Because it came back to me and I went, cost of 0, because I was like, he 100% has the Magna Gargo because he wouldn't have done this otherwise. I was like, cost of 0, Death Axmon. Digivolve everything one and then attempt to delete level 4s or lower. Had to armor purge all the rapids, brought them all down to level 3s.
I do have a story about this particular player because after you 3 went through the team event, I had to guard the bags like a dog.
we'll get to
And
that.
I actually ran into him and spoke to him for
Okay.
about 2 hours because he showed me his like win and loss thing. Like, do you know any of these names? Like, I think I know Trevor Hanna.
But yeah, I sort of waited a bit because I knew that I needed to sort of get through his last security, and I was like, honestly, my best bet's just
I will.
Death Axe right
So,
now.
fun fact, so it was that dude, I didn't realise. So, fun fact about that deck he went against, and you'll be shocked by this. So, he put his deck list out in front, and like, at which point, when I came up and stuff, and like, because by the point that he put the deck list out, I had gotten my final result type thing, I knew my placement and stuff. So, it was just like, oh, your placement, you maybe help with the deck and stuff, and I looked at it. He was not running a single level 5 Rapidmon.
Really?
Not one. It was all level 4 rapids, 3 Mega Gargos, and 4 Rapid X.
She had Mega Gargo.
You know what? I've seen people play as little as 1 level 5. I've never seen anyone go as low as that in deck list. But like,
I don't see why you wouldn't run.
I feel like
I
it's
don't
so
see
good
why
in
he
this,
wouldn't
so
run
so
good.
good in this meta.
just for the inheritable as
He was
well.
running
Because
all
like
Calamons.
Rapid Axe likes to swing and like you lower their DP, but if you can't kill them, you like to swing into their Digimon.
yeah.
Like if you're
Taking
on
the memory
that,
back.
if you're on that Rapid one, the level 5 one, it's inheritables when you delete a Digimon to crash the top security.
It's not even just that.
But
It's
the
like,
thing is, the Terraxes have.
But the Digivolve, yeah, the
the
Digivolve.
Digivolve as well. It's a matter of like, okay, we're on DP. We're going to
Also,
do a bunch
like,
of
if the
DP
green
minus.
tamer just becomes sticky, it just stays.
People say, well, I was going to say is like, okay, we're on DP minus stuff. Okay, this thing's still big enough to survive the DP. But I'll Digivolve over here and Digivolve, you're now too weak to actually survive the DP minus.
100%, yeah.
So like,
And it can't be mounts, can't be bomb deck, can't be deleted.
yeah.
Basically gives you the protection you want.
That
Yeah.
Rapidmon is probably one of the best green level 5
But yeah, that put me to
in the
2-2.
game currently.
I mean, to put it bluntly, like, so in like my Vortex deck, I've got 2 of it. In.
yeah.
I was gonna say, I put me to 2-2. That was not
Yeah,
too
so
bad.
you're gonna win there. So like we said, my round 4 was a mirror match. So we'll now go to round 5. I was against Demon Lords. Don't worry.
I understand. I can kind of make it out.
Yeah, I was mixed up actually. Right. I was against Demon Lords round 5, and I got the feature match.
I was watching it.
You're table one.
I was table
That
1.
was the point in the day where we were like, oh, this.
It looked like an intense match from the
Yeah.
outside. You had like a crowd around you watching it.
It was the most, and it wasn't because of the camera or anything. It was feature. It was recorded.
Yeah.
So there's a video gonna probably go up later about it and stuff. But I tried asking for the dude's channel name. It sounded very complicated to me with every noise. I was meant to games noted down. It'll probably come up in my recommended feed or someone on it. At some point down the line.
If any is find out.
Organised play in Glasgow. But no, Yeah, so it was the feature match, and out of every game I played all day, it was my toughest. It was the hardest one. It was the one I had to think about the most because every situation was tricky. It's Demon
At
Lords.
one point, we were talking, watching it, and I seen your line go, and I was like, "You need to stop. I need to see what's happening here."
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I knew those people around us watching. I couldn't hear anyone. I was zoned.
Oh,
It was just-
100%.
me
But
and the game.
it was
That
so.
all
I
it
mean,
was.
it was just so intense. Like it was like I couldn't concentrate on the conversation.
Thing, I was so close to judge calling the dude on slow play, with all the thinking he was doing and stuff. Like, by the time I was ready to I was just about ready. Like, okay, if this takes if he does this again, I was going to judge call him. There was a judge watching over us, so at that point, I stopped worrying about the idea of slow play and I left it to the judge's discretion. But like we said, I feel like the judges were being very lenient because the judges were literally watching him grab cards and he was putting them face down the field. Like, so he was clearly like planning out.
He was kind of
he was planning out a move type thing. But you're like, and it was like, I felt like I don't know if I would have won. I'll say that, but I felt like there would have been an outcome to this game if we played a bit faster. There would have been a winner and loser because it did ultimately end in a draw. We went to time, but I feel like I would have had the better chance than he would have of winning because very early on he got 2 Agurumons in the trash and he was getting pretty close to the Demon Lords being set up because he with his line stuff. And at that point I went, nope, I don't care about how much memory this is going to cost me and stuff. I know Demon Lords play very slowly. I've replayed security, survives returns, Paladin mode. Bottom deck that trash with 2 Aguros in it. I'm not letting you have those. He then, in the following turn, or a couple of turns, he managed to get another Aguro in trash, but then he Calling from Darkness it back in case I had another Paladin mode. Now, he wasn't aware, but when I dropped the first Paladin mode, I had the second one in hand as well. I had both Paladin modes ready, and I was holding on to it in case I seen another Aguro and to stop him. But obviously after bottom deck in 2, he was like, right, that's the third one. I'm making sure I have this. There was one big deciding factor that I think, again, if time didn't get called, was the fact that it cost him game. He had to do a good on field, so he digivolved into it. He trashed his eggs and stuff, so that was all, that the whole thing had stopped. And he didn't use that to play the Agurumon. And the Agurumon...
Wait, he trashed his eggs without playing the Agurumon?
Yeah, he had the Agurumon already on field and just decided to trash the eggs because he wanted to get those sources.
More sources?
He wanted to get those sources from the eggs into trash. That's the plan he was doing. So he had the Agurumon with 4 sources underneath. No one attacking his trigger yet, but he also had Leviathan. Now, I had a level 5 or a Dragon mode. It was 1-2. I had the ability to ace, was the thing. And he decided he was going to swing with Leviathan first. And that's why I think it majorly cost him. Because if he swung with Agurumon, triggered his when attacking first to put sources underneath. Because I had the option card, that was it. So it was, because he did swing in fact to play the Leviathan to delete me. So he was I triggered the option card to do it. It wasn't an attack even. But it was like if he just swung with the Agurumon to get all these sources underneath, the ace can only bottom deck something to go equal or less sources. So if he just puts all of them underneath, no matter what I do, he's going to have more sources than my line. But he played the Leviathan as well, and it was a Bite and Crush or something. He was doing something to delete my line. I went, cool, activate the option I had to prevent the deletion, digivolve to ace. Now my ace had the exact same amount of sources, his Oguro. Bottom deck that problem's now gone. And from that point, I felt like it was pretty confidently going to become my game because he now doesn't have his eggs. He's got all of his Gudos mons are now back in deck. He's got no way of getting them out. The big Demon Lord play is now out the window. Before we could get a conclusion, time was called, time on time, so it was declared a draw. sadly. But I think ultimately I would have the better chance of winning, but if it wasn't for all the slow playing.
Honestly, as soon as the Sangway Demon Lord crosses their eggs and they haven't killed you, it's sort of game.
Yeah. But like I say, it was the hardest match I had all day.
I mean, it's almost like when I played against Demon Lords in Diablo.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're gonna pull me to 9 memory on my turn because you have the hard play for 11. Okay, sure. Why not?
So Trevor, you're round 5.
Purple decks.
Purple deck Doro.
Well, it wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
No, weirdly, out of all of us,
This was the guy that had your build though.
oh,
Oh yeah, sorry. We didn't mention it at the local the previous night that me and Amy went to. I got recognized from this channel from my deck profile. Someone came up and was like, "I was looking at deck story builds last night for some inspiration, and I've just recognized you from what I watched." I went, cool.
This one just mulligan the first hand was completely unplayable. Through the second was like, at least I have a rookie. So drew digivolved into the rookie, drew a card, did whatever. Down came the first of many Digimon Emperors. Then straight after that, I had managed to get around to getting 1 level 4 in my hand. I had about 4 tamers, 1 level 4. And I was like, right, okay, well, I have to do something. It was Lobo, which is not what you want to see when you're on Ancient. So I digivolved into the Lobo, I swung at the security because I had to do something at that point. That was all well and good. Came back to his turn. I had to just went back up from there. He started shooting my unsuspended tamers every time I played them. He literally... at this point, I'd already set up a Sora and Joe, so he couldn't keep one sources, so he kept digivolving the other ones. But it just got to the point where it got a bit out of my control. I seen 1 level 4 that entire game. On a hybrid deck, I had nothing. I was sitting with a Magnagra and fucking a bunch of tamers and nothing to do. Like, it was just a brutal game. It actually knocked the entire wind out of my sails in that game. Like, I was just like,
well, you did lose it.
oh, very much so. He literally had nothing but Ukos in security and flipping kept shooting my memory centers and leaving me in no memory, and it was just brutal. Like,
round.
Yeah.
Because you did another next round, yeah.
5.
Round 5. Out of the 8 of us that went, you were the only one that got paired against someone we went with.
So.
Because I can't tell you what deck, because you just put down the person's name.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did that because it was easier. So I went. Funny enough, I got paired against him twice that weekend. Because I also got paired against him round 1 in the locals the night before. And it wasn't fun either time.
It's our good friend Ethan, if you ended up watching the channel. So it's our good friend Ethan, who plays regularly another card shop called Second Dimension. But yeah, so what he was playing?
He was also playing Galaxy Mirage or Nova Mirage or whatever you want to call it. He was playing the Great Nova stack with the Mirage, Hexablow, top end stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as in the locals, and it was a bit more of an even gameplay in the actual event in the regionals. In the locals, he managed to get like 3 Mirage stacks out and gain like 20 memory, and I cried internally. In the actual event, there was a point, so he was struggling to find stuff. We were both doing kind of badly all day, and there was a point where I got my stack. I was going to swing into his Mirage stack, and as I was explaining all the effects on the wood, the interruptory like deletion, so I'm like, swing in, and by battle it's going to die, so wood effects are going to trigger, and it was kind of like unsure, and then as I was about to start doing the effects and actually taking place them, he was like, wait, explain again what is triggering. I'm like, protoform and this when it would be deleted because it's going to be deleted by battle here. I went counter timing. Paladin mode, strip everything. Yep. Cool. Sweet. Bottom deck your trash as well. Yep. Wait.
Yeah.
Cool. Yay. I was defeated after that, and that's when my regionals finished.
Like,
1 win, 4 losses.
I decided to focus on the team event,
I
getting a
stopped
deck
you
ready for that.
the code.
Getting a deck ready for that. What we didn't mention actually was like early in the event, my sleeves for.
Yeah, that was
Backstory.
on the Mirage. Was it the
It
Mirage?
was the end of the Mirage match.
Yeah.
and it wasn't judge called or anything. The judge was
wasn't
just
judge.
watching and he noticed.
He noticed and he gave me a warning on it. And I asked, I can check with the head judge just to make sure. And I'm like, yeah, cool. But the sleeves I had on my regional deck, in certain lighting, was slightly not opaque. And you could read Digimon on the back. Which is what it is. You can't argue with it. I had to re-sleeve to some spare sleeves that Trevor gave me for the
It's almost looking at
For the
bought
team
100
team events.
stack of sleeves.
I will. What's
So I then had to buy new sleeves for the team event deck.
I will say that's one thing I actually remember. So at the end of round 4, because I won that quickly, I got deck checked.
It was the same for you at the end of what round 2?
Round 2.
Yeah, the magnifier.
So
Yeah,
winning
I
in
can see,
after-
yeah,
I won in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, can I see this?
Yeah. So end of round 4, I got deck checked. And I understand why they do it,
Yeah.
but I actually also hate deck checks just because they normally bring it back in deck order, and at that point it's like, right, I've now got a polish of this, make sure it's all nice and random and nothing's bricked together. And I have heard and know many stories of people doing really well, get deck checked, and that's it. Their win streak's gone because the randomness of the deck that keeps it going is gone because of the deck check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard many stories about that and know many people it's happened to. It's just, I hate deck checks. I understand why we have deck checks, but I hate it because of that reason. A part of me wishes, like, there would be a way, because there would be a way for them to deck check without, like, if they could just take the deck off you and start going through, and it's like, right, okay, this card mark out. Like, I know it takes longer that way,
Yeah.
but then, like, at least it's still randomized. It's like you can just give it back to me.
They don't
Not to
organize
worry.
it or nothing.
Like, it's not, you've not clumped cards together and stuff, and like, just it's a whole headache.
I will say, being the person that writes out the deck list for the Machine Dramon to be submitted, I would have paid good money to see someone deck check her Machine Dramon and just
they
sit
did,
there
yeah.
and just sit there and they did. And just go through every single one of, like, you'll see it in the you would have seen in the profile, like, earlier in the week, like, how many different one-ofs and different weird ratios are in the deck.
Nightmare when you're doing that all the like when you have like take another one off, take another one.
Especially if you slightly scroll up, it'll refresh the page and then
I know.
it'll all over again.
And when you tap it and the page just decides to like open up the like description of the card and it just knocks everything down and you're like, where the fuck did that card go?
Value, it's designed to block the other card you depress and like, get out of the way! So round 5 for Amy was Demon Lords.
I couldn't do anything against Demon Lords. It was essentially, okay, I'm gonna play something and then kill it. Okay, I'm gonna play something again. Okay. Yeah, we had nothing on board and then suddenly there's a good amount and I was like,
Oh.
okay. You can't delete anything on my board. Like, because I had a machine draw. He can't delete a machine draw. He can't delete 2 mothers. I had no tamers. So my whole security was gone, so I was like, okay,
Well, I mean,
That's him.
when attacking, delete.
Yeah,
Why can he delete Machine Draw?
because of protection effects.
Well, to take out so it's not deleted. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't
In
matter
fact,
anyway.
here's the thing though, I'm pretty sure what happens at that point though, he targets the Machine Draw. Machine Draw protects itself, and then because Machine Draw, he has to target it again.
That's
No,
what I was.
that's not what
I
happens.
thought that, and I was like, oh no,
That's
because there's
not
only
what happens.
targeting.
Is it not?
No,
You
you
target
choose all your
7.
targets at
Yeah.
the start.
Mm.
Then it
Whatever
goes
wasn't
to
you trash.
if they
Right.
died or not. If they didn't die, for everyone that didn't die,
Yeah.
trash security.
Okay, fair.
Which
You
doesn't
don't
have when
pick
you
it,
have
you don't
mothers
pick it.
on the board, I suppose.
You don't keep retargeting.
Oh.
It's just because the interruptioniness. No, so you lost that.
I was so fine against it. Yeah, I was like, at the point where I was like, no.
Round 5? Yes, round 5. 5 for Shiro was normal Mirage.
Yeah, that was a lot easier to deal with than the Galaxy one, to be honest.
I'm glad I didn't see the Galaxy one in that case.
The problem with the Galaxy one is you have a lot of inheritables that say you get plus 2k, so it is always bigger than Mother. The normal one
Not only
doesn't
that, like,
get
they go
that.
into Hexablow because of the Galaxy stuff. Because like they essentially play Galaxy from level 3, 4, and 5, and then level 6 is just Mirage and Hexa. But because of how Galaxy works, it's just like tuck under Digimon, tuck under Digimon, and so their stack gets very big. So if they decide the top end's going to be Hexablow, it's like there's very little that's going to outsource that Hexablow.
So
Yeah.
as soon as I went into the match and I hatched Mother, he just kind of like sort of reclined back like, oh, for God's sake. And I'm like, yeah, and then I played, showed him my first turn, and I was like, oh, here's the boogeyman.
The car that shouldn't have been printed.
Shoto immediately, it's just like, and then seeing
I,
Sheen
like every match I had that day, I was like, wait, it's not what you think it is. It's not. It's a bit spicier than Mother Control. But
Yeah, I suppose you should have a lot of that, like racing Mother play Shoto, and it's like,
it's so
It's not even race mother, it's like hatch mother play Shoto for when the mother's raised.
In fairness, what I told her was, if you have it, don't do it till the mother's raised. Just give them that little bit of hope that you don't have it. Because you don't need to Shoto that early. Just wait for the turn 2.
So this
Then
is
play
the
it.
only player I played against that actually scooped. I just got so far ahead. Like I had 2's warts on board. He then checked his wort defeat.
Oh.
I had like 6 level 7s at one point on the board, and he just scooped at that point. But
What do you do?
when the deck gets rolling, then you can put the 6s in your breeding and just do his wort, play it 2 out. Okay, next turn. Oh, I'll delete this, put another 6. Next turn, play his word out. Oh, put it underneath. And when you have that cycle going, it's really hard to deal with.
Yeah.
But
I'm
he started complaining because he's like, oh, the only way I can get past blockers in my deck is from a level
You can't-
5 Galgam or like whatever it's in.
Yeah.
Morale.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you not run the plugin? To make it unblockable? I was like, oh no, I don't. Which if he had it, because of my very first game against Old Force,
They used to.
that came up and I almost lost because of it.
you just reminded me something on that purple Dex match of mine. The guy never actually swung on my security until he had enough jacks to kill me.
Wow.
He literally just held off and held off and held off, and he was just like, I'm not gonna check.
Oh,
this
so
because
he
I don't have
he did exactly what you told me not to do, which is hold off. You kept telling me all through my practice, be more aggressive, swing early, swing early, swing early.
Well, I have the experience of checking your security, Trevor, and then
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like when you check when you check hybrid security, there's not much stuff that can do stuff you've set up gamers with. But
Yeah, I thought you just make your opponent trash for security.
and you just wait until you can kill them, and then it doesn't matter what.
Bounce it down, apparently.
yeah, that was probably my easiest match of the day.
So on to your round 6, you were against Magna X.
Aye, that was easy work too, to be honest. The night before, we decided that
Oh yeah.
we went through the deck list and like, I don't know if we should put Truby in or not, like just a 1 over Truby and then
I was telling
put
you.
down Grand Quagga down to
I
1.
was like, put your Grand Kraken on a 1 because you were talking about it doesn't come up that much. A lot of the deck lists we've seen of your kind of close to your variant of the build, we're only running it at 1 anyway, and put 1 Truby in for Magna if anything else. Because that DP minus until the end of their turn, so Magna's protection's gone and stuff like that. And you went against Magna and Cherubi came up, but not for the team.
no, not for the DP. It is nice because Truby, when you have a lot of level 7s on board, kind of lands for like 27k or something. And it's always bigger than Magna, so you have to block it, and if you don't block it, it's 2 checks, but he never blocked it. I got 4 checks with it in the whole game. And then I went into Merciful mode, I think, and then Trash's one of his last securities. I thought it would be a lot more difficult, but I got the one of Truby.
The Cherubi was the answer to Magna and it came up.
Yeah.
Just not in the way we expected.
So, round 6 for Amy. You were against Ancient Guru.
I can imagine how that one went.
So can I.
I don't remember. don't even remember it actually though.
I'm pretty sure it was over quite quick because like I remember
Yeah.
being out in the
Well, I
lobby
mean,
area and you came out within like 15 minutes or something.
It was a really quick
Yeah,
video.
she was out there when
The
I
biggest
lost,
question
and then
asked,
I
if you
lost.
remember at all, was there red rookies or blue rookies? Was there red eggs or blue eggs?
I think it might have been blue.
Was it just the Reaper mothers and Shudo for the block?
Mother Shoto
Really interesting. It was a hybrid list that didn't have any eggs. It was just tamers.
You know what though? I actually do think that the only thing I managed to keep out that game were just showdowns. That
So-
was it. I didn't have anything the whole game.
So at this point, you also dropped,
Yeah.
which I would make an argument. There was only 2 rounds left. You were at 3 losses at this point. If you managed to win your next 2 games, you would have top 60 fought, which means you would have got
Yeah.
additional prizing.
I know, but honestly, I wanted to just go in.
These 2 were not getting top 60 fought.
No.
If I played all the because it was 8 rounds, right?
It was 8 rounds,
If
but
I played the rest and won the rest, I would have been okay.
mate, you were on 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I would
that's
have
top
two.
64
I would have
forever.
3 wins and 4 losses. Yeah.
You were not making top 60
Yeah.
Best you could have done was 4-4.
And the reason I know there was a chance for Amy is because of this man's record and where he got, which means I knew there was a good chance if you didn't drop and you went to win round 7 and 8,
Mhm.
you would have top 60 fought.
Yeah, no, I thought about it. It was more just like a case of I knew that I sort of more wanted to play in the teams just and get a fresh start type thing, and then also I
you-
needed that break.
I know exactly
that's
how
the
you
thing.
feel, and
I
we're
just
probably
need
going to
that
go into
mental
it
break.
a very,
Sorry,
very short.
I'm really glad you took that break because I know you it can be kind
Adam-
of tiring playing round after round.
Adam was
After
trying to
playing-
pester us in the break as well while we were taking. We
After
just wanted to
playing
feel sorry for
every
ourselves.
game.
I was like, leave it till after.
Sorry,
No.
go ahead, Adam.
After playing 2 games of being able to do absolutely nothing, I just felt that's fate. I was like, you know what, I just need a
And I-
fresh start after this.
I
one.
would probably argue that Ancient Garura is probably one of that deck's most struggled stuff to deal with.
You did play like 2 like really bad matchups in a row.
Like,
Demon Lords.
I would
is-
say blue hybrids because just because of the inheritable of unblockable is probably one of the worst things to have to face when you're on that
Yeah, if
deck.
I can't get anything out, then it's like
Yeah, and they can just keep bouncing it and making sure.
So you didn't have round 6 because you dropped it round 5.
What do you mean? I had a round 6 of Sleeving Shine.
You had around 6, 7, and 8 of Sleeving Shine.
Trying to search for a
wait,
card.
no, we'll rephrase that. You had a round 6 of Sleeving Shine and around 7 of 8 of hunting for a Marcus.
No, round 6 Sleeving Shine, round 7 hunting for Marcus, round 8 hot dog.
Round 8, accepting I'm not finding a Marcus.
getting everyone's deck list.
So
Yeah, that too.
you're round 6. You were also against Fenrir Tatsuki Yuzuki.
You're getting worse than saying it, so you're saying it quieter every time.
Yeah,
That was
Takumi.
Taki Mikizuki.
that was one of the worst matches I had all day. I felt like everyone other than the Dextora, I felt like I had a chance of beating. That one just the hand. I was looking at like 4 level 6s at one point, and it was all ancient Garurumons, and I was just like, oh. I managed to get him down to 0 security. I got up my line. I had to basically at the point he was at, he had the DNA, he had a Tyranno down. I was like, realistically, right now, I'm kind of need to deal with both of these. Even though I knew it's not always the smart move, but I needed to. So I went, my option card went into one of my ancients, bounced the Tyranno, then that bounced his last security, funny enough. Then I was like, right, need to deal with that thing. How do I deal with it? And I was like, I looked at my hand and I had fuck all in it, and I was like, I'm gonna have to drop an Ishiguro for the cost of 9 here. And I knew it was like a big, big thing to leave him on so much memory, but it was all I could do at that situation. And at that point, he just went into another class TCG, or whatever the level 6 is.
Takumi, level 6.
The DNA one. The
Digimon.
DNA.
level
That's
7.
He went the whole way because I left him with like so much memory. He went the whole way back up with just DNA. And because it had the source, he was able to recover. Then he swung, trashed his to trash my last security, and I was like, I just at that point I was like, oh, it was so rough. I was just like, I literally just didn't have an answer to the deck, if I'm being honest. I was just like sitting with such a brick hand, and I was like, I have no answer to this.
So,
And in best of one, it matters so much.
yeah, so at this point, this put you at 4 losses.
I literally, at that point, I was just like, you know what? I want to focus on the team event and get myself out of my slump that I feel like I'm in at the minute, because I was annoyed at myself for like, there was a couple of ones which could have been easy wins.
So
if
by
something
by
changed.
this point, use 3 had dropped. You're obviously preparing for the team event. So for the rest of the recap, it's just going to be me and Shura until we get all 8 rounds, and then I'll do the top cut, and then we talk about the team. Okay. So on to my round 6. It was a mirror match again. I lost this mirror match because I lost for the many reasons why the mirror matches I won did. I couldn't find the other colour.
It's your turn.
Yeah, it was my turn for it, which was due fair. It took 6 rounds for it to happen.
Yeah.
It took 6 rounds for it to get to the point where my deck just went, no. And it's granted, like, to be fair, like, we had a friend of ours, Connor, calling me crazy for playing Impildra in this
I
tournament.
don't think it was a crazy move. The amount of Impilders that were doing well at that event was kind of crazy.
I mean, slight spoiler warning for those who don't know.
7 of the top 6.
7 of the top 16 were Impildra.
pretty high.
None of the top 16 were red hybrids, which is what he was playing.
But yeah, it was
How
my...
many of the top 16 were good?
Ancient Guru,
Yeah.
2, 1 blue base, 1 red base. But yeah, it was my lot. I got a loss there. So at this point, I'm X11. Still feeling pretty confident. And at this point, I'm like, right. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, because we did also find out draws were 1 point still. The Swiss point system still.
It was just a weird way of.
So I was like, at this point, I'm like, right. As long as I win win one of my next 2. I think I can afford to lose and maybe make top. I have a chance at top cut still because of that tie.
Yeah.
Because obviously that tie really puts me ahead of everyone that's X2. I'm 1 point ahead of them all, which really put me in there. So I'm like, right. At this point, after this loss, I'm like, I've got to at least win 1 more, and I feel like I have a good chance. So I go into round 7. It's a mirror match.
Oh, going off the back of a mirror that you lost, going into another mirror.
I opened Godly.
I know, but like, I'm sure the trepidation was still there of like.
I
going
opened
into it.
Godly, one of the best I ever did, and they opened nothing. In fact, one thing, so I think it was pretty early on, it was either around 3 or 4 mirror match. I went against the guy again later on in Top Cut. But yeah, I absolutely beat the guy in Swiss. In Top Cut, we'll get to that. But yeah, in Swiss, like, I know for a fact I beat him because he was one of the ones he couldn't find the other colour. Like, he just couldn't get it. Like, and he was in one of his awkward situations. Like, I remember specifically when I beat him in Swiss, he had a sting on him back and he raised, needed the whole chance to try and look for the other piece, couldn't find it. And I remember I went into the ST DNA against him, because that's just what I had. I was like, right, I want to bottom deck the sting, take away that piece from you. And then he told me after the match, the next turn after that, his draw for turn was the XP he was searching for, but he now needs the sting. So he only had the 1 sting. So he was in this loop.
Just like, oh, I got that bit. Oh, I've lost this bit now. I have it back. That bit's gone.
So that was something I'll make, as I will say, I remember up. But yeah, so round 7, it was another mirror match, and I saw Godly, and I blitzed through their security. They could not keep up with my speed. Like, I was God-handed it, if I would say at that point. They was just, by the time they even found their pieces, I was too far ahead. Like, yes, you can answer my board, but I've got back plan for back and plan for back and plan.
You're already set up for the next DNA, and
I'm set for the next few at that point. It's like, I'm too far ahead. There's no way you're getting this. So
I've got investments here.
So at this point, I've got my win. I'm like, okay, next round, win or lose, I feel pretty confident I'm gonna make top cut. I feel pretty confident especially with how many games have gone. So we'll jump to round
Shiro.
7's for Shiro, where he finally faced Impildramon.
Yeah.
You can hear by the excitement in his voice.
Your round 7 was the same.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm like 5 wins to 1 loss.
You're
Yeah.
feeling pretty confident, probably as
Yeah.
well.
Feeling pretty good.
At this point, both me and Shiro, like, we've got our group on our backs here.
Yeah.
The problem is not Imperial, and the Imperial deck it's Hack Supply. Because it bottom deck my Shoto, and a lot of my cards in my deck are like played without Digivolution sources, so I can't
I
attack
suppose
with them.
doesn't have to blow say.
Yeah, none of your
block with
lines
those
like,
sources as well.
have more than like one or two
So they can't-
sources.
Yeah, it's not actually the only problem in the only Imperial card that's a problem in the deck is Paladin mode, because most of my cards
Yours
do not have
revolves-
sources.
I was gonna say as well, probably resolves around trash as well a lot because your sword defeat and stuff.
Yeah.
Last combos
Oh,
with trash.
The one time, so he used Paladin mode against me in that game, but I don't think he actually bottom decked my trash for some reason.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
But maybe did, I can't really
I mean,
remember.
I remember, like, so you and me, we did a practice game and stuff at locals of Impildra versus your Omnizu, and there's a point where your own security messed you up because I got into Paladin mode. You had, I got all you saw was and I was going swing, swing, swing,
And the amount of bodies you
what-
put up.
and like you had 2 blocker mothers on board, and with what was on the board, you would have one.
One security
you would
there.
have 1 mother left with 0 security.
Yeah.
But one of the security checks. Oh, sorry, it was my Magna even. I was doing Magna that day because I was giving it a final time, and it was disgusting because I did final Super Punched, then Blinding Ray to trigger the Magna Invincibility to then go into Impaled as Paladin mode, but one of the checks was Sword Defeat the place itself. Which then means it's another body with no source of Paladin mode at the bottom there. So it forced you to use your last blocker to save yourself, which just left you with nothing.
Yeah, other than that, it was a pretty close game, I think. I had him at 1 security, and yeah.
Honestly, it feels always like Impildra always manages just to survive on that one security and then just come back from
The
that.
Hex
I mean,
Supply
was it
definitely
against
was
you?
a momentum swing.
Yeah.
Against you, I had a game where, like, I think it was maybe you got me completely down to 0 security, you were still on a full 5, and I just came back and took the entire game.
I have no idea. It could have been.
I will say another thing about
I have
Hex
no
Supply,
idea.
it completely counters my level 6s and raising. Because all my level 6s that I raise from raising are one attacking effects.
I know, this is one of the...
Yeah.
When I played test on the simulator, I thought I went against them.
Yeah, so like,
on these
the issue's not the Imperial cards, it's the Hex Supply top end and the Paladin mode.
I mean, don't you have ways of removing the Hexblow with like?
Oh,
for
I
example,
can
like
remove it,
Rapid
yeah,
and
but
Vykius.
I can't search for Shoto apart from 2 Mommy Mons, and
Mm.
he's hard to find sometimes. Which was the issue in my very last game, but
So you lost that. So round 8, you were against, once again, Mirage Nova.
yes. It was a very close game too, but
Yeah, because you've already beat a Mirage Nova. Like, so.
I didn't see Shoto all game, so
Ah.
I bottomed back three times.
Live or die on the show, though.
Yeah, but pretty much, yeah.
So that became your 3rd loss, which sadly knocked you out of the ability to top cut. So for my round 8, a deck that I was definitely not expecting to see, not at round 8, Royal Knights.
I'm quite surprised by that as well. Actually.
I was not expecting it. I was just like, okay. And I got to a point where they had the Royal Knight on board and stuff, and I was like sitting there thinking to myself, like, oh, right, I'm pretty confident I'm going to go DNA and spend stuff that can't stop. And at that point, when I did that, I was getting ready to attack, I was sitting there and thought to myself, like, Royal Knights now have all the aces.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Well, it's too late now. I've committed to this line of play. Swing, unsuspend, do all my own heralds. Counter timing. All as much. Let's go. Crimson Modes. Yep. Partition. And then
Yeah.
DNA. Swing again. Just went through all that. And I eventually got to a point where I put him in a rather awkward position. I can't remember exactly what it was, like what my board was. But I essentially had game. He had nothing on board. I remember I had a BT12 fighter mode. And he was asking me, what TP is it? And it was like 17,000. Because I had 3 colours in the sauces, but I also had the plus 1,000 heritable egg all turns. So it was just like, it was big. And he's just like, he's sitting there, he's thinking for a while, and at one point he goes to me, I'm not trying to slow play. I'm like, no, it's round 8, I understand, it's a difficult situation. Like,
Yeah.
he understood, like, if he doesn't deal with this board right now, he is dead next turn. So he was wanting to spend as much time as possible thinking, and not go away and come back and think later on. I had a way out. It's like, I understand
Like I
that.
did.
It's like, I understand that, I'm not going to call a judge or anything. Take your time, it's round 8, it's the final round before top cut. I understand, take your time. I can understand. And he was like, thank you very much and stuff. And he's sitting there thinking, he goes to me, he's like, it's pretty obvious to say, but if I had the Omnimon, I'd be hard slamming it right now. I don't have Omnimon. I found out after the game, the reason he kept asking about my TP and stuff, because he was getting right, he had another Crimson Moon Ace in hand. They was depending on how playing was mine, they just deleted 15, but I was on 17, so he couldn't delete me. So eventually his play, he got out Magnum on the blocker, and then he also got out another level 6 Royal Knight, because he used an option card to bring out the Magnum on from the sources, so he delayed the effect, and then he played out the other Royal Knight and stuff. And I raised DNA and stuff. I'm like, right, play it safe. We're not going to be silly, because the DNA I went to wasn't partition. It's like, right, we're going to play it safe. So what we're going to do, I had enough memory. I went into fighter mode as Ace in the other line. It's like, right, we're going to bottom deck that the level 6. So that way, don't have to worry about an Ace now. He's only got a blocker. So I go swing at security with the fighter mode Ace. Doesn't block. Checks, unspend, swing at security, last security's gone. And I go swing with the big fighter mode for game. And I briefly forgot when he was about to declare block. I'm like, wait a minute, I just remembered I've got a mandatory effect here. I may affect while I'm triggering it before you do anything. I had Wormmon, suspend an opponent's Digimon, suspend the Magnamon blocker, so I hit for game guaranteed. And I took the game from there, so that put me on 1 loss, 1 draw, the rest win, and I was like, that's it, I'm guaranteed top cut. Which was very nice. First I ever made in any card game tournament that big, including like Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff. So it was...
What was it, 176 players?
176 players to get up to that. So going into my top cut, because it'll be very quick. So my top 16 match was against Magna. Probably the second toughest match I had all day. But the thing with Magna as well, like, the big thing was, I had the counter to Magna in every game. Like, the guy, like, I got to a point where, like, I wasn't swinging because of Magna. I didn't want to lose, because I was like, I don't survive battle.
That's a point you probably should say. Top 16 is best of 3.
Yeah, it's now best of 3. We were best of 1 all round Swiss, but we're best of 3.
Well, 40 or 45 minutes?
45 minutes. But yeah, so it was good. So the thing was, like, I was never gonna swing, so I don't do the partition in battle. It was like I'm just not gonna swing at you. So we got to the point where we're just staring at each other because he didn't want to swing at me in case I had the ace.
Game of chicken.
But what he eventually did, he did it in both games. He was sitting there like looking, going. He goes, blinding ray, trash security, gain 2 memory. Game protection, and then do nothing with the Magna. It's now just a big body sitting there with protection.
Sure, he would swing at that point, right?
No, if he swings, it's now suspended. I can get a free check-in. Is what he's thinking. And at which point it comes back to my turn. Like, he just sort of passes back to my turn. It's like, right, okay, I'll just do some more setup and stuff. I'm just going to continue staring. I'm just going to wait. And there was at one point, in game 1, I went Hexablow into a line. So it's like, right, you can't even attack me now. And during one of the points where he's under Hexablow, so Magna can't swing, he went blind. That's one of the points when he went blind right against me. It's like, cool, Magna can now swing. Didn't swing.
I mean, I do get it. If you're relying on things like blinding ray to gain your protection, so that because you can't swing, you can't hit your opponent's security with either through Hexblow or you're worried about the ace or something. If you're at that point, then like letting your opponent get that free swing and security is even worse if you're relying on trashing or removing your own security to trigger your protection.
But
I do get it.
eventually, like, it became this whole stalemate that the thing is, there was a few times, like in game one was the big one. There was a few times in game one where he had the ability to swing on Magnet, and I'm sitting there in either Dragon mode or I'm sitting on the low 5. And he was obviously scared of the ace. I didn't have the ace. I was fully bluffing.
I mean, to be fair though,
He would probably wait until he drew into something like a
I
head.
feel like if you're on a best of 3 though, and you're sitting on a Magna Axe, and you want to test the waters to see, surely swinging is a positive idea after becoming
After becoming protected?
protected, yeah.
But eventually got to the point where, like, eventually in game 1, and it eventually got to the point where, like, he had to pass turn without any protection on the Magna. In fact, no, game 1, that wasn't the case. In game 1, I eventually, just because he sat there for so long, I got that many swings, it's like you can't block everything.
Yeah.
I have more than enough swings to get through.
But that's what I mean, like if you're on Magna, you're on a timer, right? I mean, there's only so many options you have to trash your own security.
Yeah.
I do feel when I went against Magna as well, because it has such good protection, they're so afraid of losing it.
Yeah, and it's just like sometimes you just have to do it. It's
Yeah.
like as someone has
You
played,
have to take the risk now and again, because if you don't, you're just, as you say, sitting in a staring match to the point where your opponent has so many more swings than you have blockers.
So
Somehow being so uber protected from everything makes it the most fragile
You
thing.
get more
It's like,
paranoid.
oh no, it's glass.
But-
I can't swing,
so
it'll die.
we go into game 2, and from the get-go, I was out of the DNA and stuff. I had fighter mode ace, and I was just, and like, we entered the whole staring match again. It was like, cool, you've got a big Magna. I'm sitting here with a Stark. I'm going to start you and not attack. And eventually, I didn't get Hexablow game 2, so I couldn't stop him that way. But he did the whole blinding ray stuff again and stuff. But it was literally like both times with blinding ray. Like, it just really felt like we've just entered back to square one before you blinding ray. Just the only difference is you're down 1 security.
Yeah.
And that's all it literally felt like. But it eventually got to the point where in game 2, he had to pass without giving his Magna on any form of protection. I was like, right, cool. Digimon with Dragon Mode for 2, fighter mode ace, bottom deck the Magna. I'm free to do whatever I want now. He had no backup plans or anything. It's like swing, there we go, game.
See, this is what I'm saying, like about what you were saying about when you're trashing your security, you feel like letting your opponent hit it. The longer and more you do that, the more fragile of a position you're in, especially against the Pillager.
I'm not saying it's the right move, I'm just saying
Yeah, I know, but that's
understand
what I'm
the
saying.
logic.
I understand the logic as well.
I really do think he was just waiting till he could either search or draw, or like draw power into something like a removal, like a Heavens, just to like
Maybe.
Heavens you off the board now, not worry, boom,
So,
and go for it.
going into top 8, it was a mirror match. So when I went against the Swiss, the one who guy, like say, was searching for the opposite colour.
Round 3 or 4.
And in this mirror match, so game 1, I can't fully remember the outcomes of. I lost game 1. I can't fully remember the outcomes. I think we maybe went to 3-1 as 2-1 result in the end. I think, or either that or I got 2-0. I can't fully remember. All I can remember is the game that ultimately decided was it eventually turned into the biggest form of Imperial matchup ever of who can see BT16 more as Imperial
And lock down the board.
and go into it constantly. And
The partitioning and then read.
my and plays I had to do were so, like, they were workable, but they were so awkward in what I had to do.
It's nice. Go ahead.
Okay, I was like, they were, they were so awkward in what I had to do that they weren't the most optimal, but they were playable. There were things I could do to the point where like I kind of ran out of gas, and what didn't help by the time I was like when I checked through security and stuff, he was sitting on 3 Davis Kens. So like it was almost every turn he had gas to go, to the point where he had so many boards, and like by the time I ran out of the ability to lock down the board, he had like 5-6 bodies that could suddenly swing, and some of them were multiple swings, and it's just like yeah, I can't get a BT60 now. I can't block this
And this
ball.
is almost like why we said
I have to pass turn now, and this is it. Like, this is game over. There's nothing. I know for a fact my security has no answer.
Yeah, like Davis and Ken as a one-up on the board is pretty good.
I
but
was
having
going to
three
say, even
right
as a one-off, it's like solid, but like, this is the reason that sometimes we say, like, a builder needs looked at in some way, shape, or form.
Well, I mean, I said in my deck profile that came out earlier in the week for as my like the top 8 list. Like, I feel like if you hit anything in Builder, it has to be Davis Ken.
I feel though that you can't even put it to 1 because 1 even makes it, as you say, nearly unplayable against sometimes. Like the one I played against.
I'm gonna be honest. I played against a Pillager one where they've only seen it once, or they haven't seen it at all, and it still does decently. It still plays rather well. It's not like it's super like, yeah, you've cut off a limb, but it's kind of like cutting off a foot rather than the whole leg.
I mean, the biggest thing I want to point out to think of that I don't think you really take into consideration here when you say, like, oh, well, you see a 1, it's bad enough. The difference is if you put it down to 1,
You might not see it as quickly.
it's now a 1-up in the deck, which means you're not seeing it as
I
consistent.
don't know. I saw Hammer Spark a lot.
Well, we're not all the king of 1-ups. I think
I think
She
with
always sees her one-ups. She plays 30 of them.
I think with Imperial as well, like you have the XVmon and the Stingmon, and you gain a memory each when you do it.
I think
On
that
top of the tamer, so
I-
you always did Digimon
Yeah,
for a net positive.
Someone did like
I
start
think-
at 4 and then did 2-2 and DNA'd against me with 2 tamers
Well,
and then just gained the 4 back. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I love when you spend no memory.
That
Yeah, it's
Pillager
always
I
a
was
net
against.
positive.
That Pillager I was against, where they had 1 on the turn. They had 1. I'd left them 1 memory. And they went from 1 memory to like 6 or 7.
Yeah, you can't memory check.
Like it was just like, okay then.
Oh no, I completely get it and stuff. Like, that's what I mean. Like, honestly, I feel like the memory gaining XV and Sting, though, they are a problem. I'm not going to deny that, but I feel like they're only as big as a problem as they are because of partition.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
I think they were a problem before.
though I don't think there was a big as a problem. Is what I'm saying. Because the problem is now, 'cause right now you go DNA gains so much memory, but then that's it. If you got rid of that line, like say, for example, you go Shine Burst mode type thing, like and like delete the line, that was it. The line was gone. But thanks to partition, it's like, right, I was gonna get these memory gains back and gain more memory, and then gain more memory. It's just
Yeah.
like that's what I feel like. Partition has took them cards to the next level.
I just feel it's a situation of, so like, say Ragnarok, for example, every single iteration before the current one is a
Yeah, yeah.
completely different archetype, whereas all the Imperial stuff works together.
Yeah.
So all the old
same
stuff
deck
works
just
with the
getting
new
better
stuff.
and better and better.
You've got Jammon, you've got Unsuspend bottom deck, Bounce the Hand, Protection,
They were literally one after the other.
I know.
Sword Strip.
It just says me doing this.
Like, it's
Put away
very,
your plates,
it's
son.
very little doesn't love.
So we're gonna go on to the team event now.
I'm funny enough, we're in the order we sat them.
Yeah, did it delivery. So, like I say, I lost the top 8. We will, wherever it is, I've got an Omnimon to reveal. Something.
Yeah, you do.
So going into the team event, needs to be put away with
Okay,
so going into the team event, there was 5 rounds of the 3v3. So in terms of 3v3, we had Adam here as team captain. To his right.
Well, there was a couple of...
It's swapped about, but player A was me, player B was Trevor.
Yeah, player B was Trevor, so he was to the right, and then Amy was to the left, it was player C. Now,
We
I'm
all
not...
got response to keep us right in the performance.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Adam still has it.
you all got response.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to know, we're not going to get into it because we are getting pretty close to time here. So if you want to know about the rulings and how team events are played, just go to Digimon events and stuff, and there's a whole 3v3 section that explain all the rulings. They do have some special rulings in place that to fully understand things. It's not over the top, but all it really determines is decks is what it really determines what you can play and stuff.
To go into the other rule, what's important is Adam can communicate with Amy, and Amy can communicate with Adam. I can't communicate with Amy, but I can communicate with
And
Adam.
the team has a shared card pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That essentially does everything. So, round 1 for yous, you went against Hunters, EOS, and Red Hybrids. Anything memorable?
I got really happy at seeing Eos.
Yeah.
I opened.
Anything memorable? I smiled.
I switched to Shine in the team event because me and Trevor had conflicts in our decks.
Oh yeah, should probably say Shine, Ancient Guru still, and still on Machine Gun.
Yeah,
A little bit of an update to her deck, but mostly the same. I switched to Shine.
I dropped an egg. That was really.
I opened a really good Shine hand. I opened like the Geo Grey, the BT12 to like play a teamer if it didn't have one, and I had a whole strategy. And then he opened up by we were actually against some friends of my brother actually.
I
So
was
happy, such a good time.
I was in a pretty strong position, but Hunters was actually making me work for it.
Yeah. But my guy opened up by hard slamming the level 4 EOS and was like, I might play a tamer. And he went through that. He played Analog Youth and he went to resolve Analog Youth and I went, and then I get to play a tamer, right? And he went, yes, you do. And I went, Marcus, yes.
No wonder he felt happy against you.
Of all the decks you could have went against, Eos one is probably your
Yeah.
best matchup. Like, oh, you
We
want to play
played the
Tamers?
matchup. It's actually not that great for me.
I was
But
gonna
I was so happy that I just get to slam tamers.
I would say I would argue Eos is the worst thing for him because we did a playtest of him on Shine and me and Eos, and I just locked down his Marcuses. It's like you do not get the on plays, you do not get to unsuspend.
half of it I was so excited just because I've been playing EOS quite a bit and recently and I know the effects really well, so I'm just like, I know this so confidently. I'm gonna focus on these two games. Cool. Oh, you're playing again? Cool. Kill that, cool.
To be fair, honestly, like, it looked over at one point after he had, I think, were you still playing or had you won at that stage? I think you had won.
Probably one.
I was
Yeah,
sitting
I
facing down 2 full stacks of Hunters.
And I went, ooh.
Yeah, like, he was on Omni Shout, and I think the other one was on Superior mode? I can't remember
He
exactly.
had just digivolved into
Yeah,
it.
so I had the memory, and basically what I did was I learned from my mistakes from earlier. I went Beowulfmon, the Omnimon can't suspend.
And I was very happy that it was Omni Shout and not Superior Mode
Yeah.
because Superior Mode can
And
attack
then-
without suspend.
Then straight after that, I was just like, because I'd album back in the memory, that was all well, and I looked at the security, I was like, you know what? Just digivolve the Ancient, bounce the Superior mode, leave your blocked out Omnishy. From there, took that win pretty easily.
So, anything memorable about Hybrid Game 1?
No.
Also, Shortbro mentioned that the team event was best of ones for each of you. Like,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, each individual.
but collectively, the team had to win 2 of the 3 games
Yeah.
for the team to win.
And all 3 of us won round 1.
We all
Yeah,
3-1 round
we
one.
3-0'd.
we were like, yeah!
So
The
round,
rare 3-0 win.
so round 2, Demon Lords, Red Hybrids, Hunters.
We just had the reverse in this game.
Yeah.
There was very many memorable things in this round. I will start because my Demon Lord player was the exact same Demon Lord player I lost to in round 2 of the main event. And for the most part, I was still playing well enough against them. It's a very hard matchup for any deck. But I eventually got to a board where I had set it up. They had enough to go into a Gudamon. I set up a board that had Marcuses to recover when they died, and enough on board that, with my security as what it was, if they went into the Agudo, they were not killing me.
I was talking with you when this was happening as well. Because
You suggested other stuff.
I
And I'm like,
suggested other
no,
stuff, and you were like,
no, I know my stuff here.
To be fair, I don't think it overall matters what way you went at that.
They just decided not to do the Ogudo. I looked away for a second to focus on, I think it was Amy's game.
Yeah, they decided not to get it. I was
I looked
watching
back
yours.
and they didn't Ogudo. And then
They just
they played other stuff, dismantled my board from that. I left everything on the board. I didn't
Yeah.
have any backup.
Ah.
I genuinely just.
At that
I'll
point,
figure
you
it out.
know, just demolished that.
Yeah.
Probably me next would be the best one. Red Hybrids flip. I have a stupidly good matchup against Red Hybrids. I literally had one so quickly. I don't even know what the memorable moments was. I had literally just annihilated this guy's board. I opened Provoco, Ukomon, I like dropped Tamers. Literally, I just like flipping went through him so quickly. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, you were the only person that won on that
Yeah.
one.
So Hunters.
Hunters was,
Anything memorable
it was my most toughest game, honestly, today.
today?
Today.
Oh, yes.
Of the day.
Of the
That's what I meant. Jeez. Okay.
We've travelled in time.
I'm still like in last night. Yeah, no, it was my toughest match. I felt like because everything was being put under my tamers from the rest of the ones, and it was like really putting me on edge because I didn't know what was happening. I've never played against hunters or anything in the past, and I don't know what any of the cards did in it at all. I had no knowledge of it, so it's
I
like
must say, I'm pretty sure, like, I think you joined us playing Digimon just after Hunters
Yeah.
was the thing.
Yeah.
I played against Crossheart, like
Which is a similar enough deck, but
Twice.
the
To be
removal
fair-
but
is
it does
different.
different.
I was watching, obviously I couldn't talk to you, but like, I believe, like, you were on point to winning that game until
Yeah,
they dropped
I was-
a certain option.
I was pretty confident. We figured out
Yeah.
the reason that she did, so go ahead.
So I think I chose to redirect it first only because I didn't know if they were going to go into a restroom again.
It
And
was
put it
quartz
under.
as well you were worried about, because
No, it was
you
the
were
rest.
worried about that.
I
because
was
it
worried about the
dead.
corpse. She was worried about the,
Yeah.
the
Go
tuck in.
ahead.
Yeah, if I if I had blocked it first and stuff, then our blockers would have been removed. I didn't know if they were going to play another Arrestodramon instead and bought it like put under my team.
Yeah, tuck it
So I have no
under.
protection against that at
Yeah.
all.
Because it
So
doesn't actually do for it.
I feel
Yeah.
like at that point, though, if you're worried about the tuck, block or redirect, it doesn't matter because the rest just does something. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be suspended. There's no.
It's not just that.
The
it's
issue was
more
she didn't want to use her blockers before the tuck came.
because if
Yeah.
the tuck came after the
If she had
If
already
she'd
used them
already
and she
used
was
them,
relying
she
on the
could-
redirect,
she
if the
could
tuck
tuck-
happens,
she can't
she has
redirect.
nothing to redirect into.
Yeah, but that's what I mean though. It's 6 and 2 freeze. Like either you redirect and they tuck and you've lost your block, or you block and they.
They can't tuck the block.
because it's mother.
They can't target mother.
Right.
they can't even
right,
target-
right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I thought it was on the same line. Okay. Yeah. I get you.
However, the option you
I mean, like, yeah, but realistically, how else was I meant to know well?
yeah, I know. I'm not
So
saying
what?
anything. I'm just saying
What
Yeah.
terms reference it? They blue plugged you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they, oh,
which
yeah.
meant you couldn't block.
Yeah, but like realistically, how was I meant to know?
yeah, no.
It's like-
Honestly, you would never have
Absolutely.
known. We're not saying it's your fault.
People should stop complaining about Mother Showdown and just run that option.
Yeah.
That option card
That
solves
option card,
everything.
Yeah.
Option card's the worst thing though. It's just like, yeah, cool. You have tamers, cool, no color requirements. We don't need to be a blue deck.
Yeah.
Next thing about it is like, cool, it can't be blocked. Right, so we get rid of the biggest problem in this format.
Ever.
And then the last thing we do on top of that is give the most annoying mechanic that everyone hates, jamming. So you can't.
It was the most unfortunate one, honestly. Like
Yes.
you had to make a decision between block and redirect. and
Also,
it
they
just-
could have very easily had
Yeah.
something with rush.
yeah,
Okay,
they
yeah.
had the answer. They
It
had
was
the
a split
answer.
second, and there wasn't like enough time to like
Yeah.
weigh it up. At the end of the day, there was no
play for a draw.
Yeah,
No,
there
no,
was
no way to do that. So it's
there
just
was
like,
no
I'm not
reason-
letting it happen.
there was no reason on my end to disagree with the redirect either.
No,
There
it was
like
correct all the time.
it was like either way, it seemed like it was going to.
Oh yeah,
be
it was
still your
100%
win.
like at the time. It was like there was no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
In hindsight, they were clearly lining you up for the trap of getting rid of the redirect. Because like if they seen the plugin like I can deal with the blockers, they see the deal with the
To be
redirect.
fair, I don't
So
think it was
the-
something that we were expecting to see playing in Hunters.
Oh no! That's what I mean. I said
No,
this like
it's
you
not.
wouldn't expect it. No, the thing is with Hunters with having so many tamers, I understand why the plugin was there.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that's what I'm saying. At the given moment in time, there was no right or wrong answer of block or redirect. There was no right or wrong. Both were right and both were wrong at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I
Well,
already
in
did the
hindsight, you
Arrestodramon
can-
a few times, like twice that game. So it was just really embedded in my
Yeah.
head. Like this is something they can do.
And it's a swing without suspending
The
as well,
type
which is
of
kind of scary.
It's the type of thing. What I'm saying, like in hindsight, after seeing, playing the match and stuff, it's in hindsight, it's clear
clear, yeah.
that they were baiting the redirect because they could get bypast the blocker. Going on to your round freeze.
Yeah,
so,
well, that was a loss of right there.
Yeah, so you
one,
lost.
one win, one
you
loss.
lost round 2 as a team. So round 3, Blue Flare, Secon, Red Hybrids.
I bricked against this player. I got damn near OTK'd. Went through my entire security in one turn. he was on his Zeeg. I really was expecting just like the blitz only for game, but he didn't have it, or he doesn't run. I'm assuming he runs it and just didn't have it. He started searching, and from that point I was like, okay, I kind of might have this, but I just couldn't see level 5s, so.
If you can't hear what he's saying, it's recovery. He's kind of broken.
Honestly, make it even worse. They were playing parry, which could reduce the security tag when a card left security or entered security. So, yeah, it was a bit of a struggle. It was an uphill battle, but it wasn't a struggle as such.
Not when you can bounce.
No, honestly, I was dealing with the security quite well. The issue was just they kept recovering it. It just kind of came into a process of me constantly swinging and then constantly recovering and security minusing me. And they did drop their fan name on Ace, which at one point I feel was a mistake on their front because they left the Magna that they played on the board, and basically they went to Fanny Boy Ace on the swing of the Ricky, and I was like, Digivolve, swing, Digivolve, go to Ancient, bounce the Ace, get the turn back. It was just one of them matches where you just have to keep swinging. Eventually I did get through all the security and just hit them for the game because I had the 2 fucking lines.
And Red Hybrids with Amy round 3.
It was fine. He was just slow playing like crazy. Like, I don't know, he seemed new. The players to me seemed new.
On all the team, yeah.
And I was getting really irritated.
He didn't
like,
know what
I had it, and he
That
kept
went to
asking.
time, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I came to a deck count.
So for time procedures in the team, it was single elimination time procedures.
Because they couldn't exactly have a team being on.
They didn't want to do draws for the side event, essentially, is what we are assuming.
Yeah.
Because it would mess up the scores. So they needed some sort of tiebreaker.
Yeah.
rulings.
So going on to round 4 then.
But before that, same security. But Amy had more cards in deck. Yeah!
So ultimately you won that one as a team, round 3. So going into round 4, you were against Royal Knights.
I was against Machindra
Machindra.
Mother!
Machindra Mother. I'm sorry,
Mashuto?
trying to read my own handwriting. I rushed. I'm like, that's bad.
I'll put it this way. I was against Amy. Just a worse deck.
Yeah.
Worst version of that.
Then
Worst.
Amy was against Rapidmon. So, any memorable moments from this round?
I beat Royal Knights fairly quickly.
I think it was a bit slower than me.
It was a bit. I think you finished, and then immediately the turn after I finished. I just remember really getting through their security really quickly, and they were playing Royal Knights, but I just kind of didn't have to worry about them. They weren't doing anything to stop me. If they were doing anything, it was minimal. Like, I just kept getting back into my lines and stuff. They didn't see Omni. They weren't building their Royal Knights. I kept killing the Royal Knight they left out, so they didn't really fill up their Yggdrasil at all. It was easy enough.
Not gonna lie, Mother came out, Shoto came down, and a lovely Hakumon, the trash cyborg, I knew immediately what I was against at that point. What do you call it? However, honestly, probably one of the best matchups I have, because, as I said before, when you can become unblockable, you don't have to care about Mothers. Basically, yeah, I just kept bouncing his stuff, bouncing his security, coming unblockable because I kept seeing them gamers, and I actually think I used the option twice to play down to my tamers to become unblockable because I was like, screw it, I just want to be in the like situation.
I looked over to your board at one point.
Oh, and he
you
had
had
security.
10 you had like at least 8 plus tamers on the board, and this was turn like 3 or 4, and I genuinely went to your opponent. I'm like, I like this for me. I'm so sorry though.
On top of that, we have to point out two of them were Shora and Joe. And
Yeah.
against Mother Shoto. Mother doesn't have sources. Mother can't get sources. So I was constantly
I mean,
getting...
it can in its own deck.
In its own deck it can, but in this situation it couldn't, and I was getting basically memory set to 3, getting 4 memory off the Joe and
Yeah, like
Source.
7 every time.
And At one point, he actually got to a protected Chaos Dramon, I believe, and I was just like, swing, on swing, draw one, gain a memory, become unblockable. On swing, tap Sword and Joe, strip 2 switches, you're no longer protected, go up line, bounce the hand. It was just really just a brutal matchup for them.
And Rapid Mod.
Went to draw again. It was.
It went to death bounce again. It went to
Yeah.
time. The
had
death.
to play just really weirdly, and like, I don't know, it didn't feel tough. I didn't feel like I was really struggling. It just felt more slow. Yeah, because I was doing everything I needed to do, and then she was just really
I do want to say,
trying
like,
everything else.
for anyone that's never ever played a 3v3 event, the pressure on you when one of your players has lost or you don't know the outcome, you're trying to get that win for other people as well, and you're just like under so much pressure looking at a board going, what do I do?
So ultimately, though, as a group, round 4, you all won.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was a
So at this
wins.
point, going into
They actually dropped our opponents from round 4. They dropped straight after
so
that.
by the end of round 4, you were on 3-1,
Yeah.
Yeah.
feeling pretty.
I hadn't lost a game at that point. I was like,
We kind of knew at that point, like, if we win the next round, we have
at least I'll
high to, you know, straight dead on chances of getting top 4.
Like
So-
when our table got announced for round
Guaranteed.
5, we knew basically there's probably no movement from here because it was table 4. We
Yeah.
were like, if we win this one, we're either staying exactly here or we move up 1 or 2. There's literally, it's almost guaranteed.
Yeah, there's no top
Oh,
for the team events.
Just
so.
quickly, someone mentioned it, by the way. The team name.
Dragon Scale!
Dragons.
Yeah, we did.
Representing our local card shop, Dragon Scale.
This is what happens when you leave me in charge of naming things. I just go for the easy option. I'm like,
Honestly,
but
really,
Dragon Scale!
it should have been Tamer for block, Tamer for game.
So going into round 5, you went into Blue Flare again. You went against Impildra
Yeah.
and Omni Ace. So,
I redeemed myself against that blue flare.
I'll let you two go first on this one because
Against the second blue flare player, he was surprised when I told him I lost to blue flare 2 rounds earlier. He's like, "There's another blue flare player." I'm like, "Yeah."
I was shocked when I came after the end of round 3. You're like, I went against Blue Flare. Like, what, there's Blue Flare here?
This is a BT19.
He never saw jamming. Is one point that happened. He never saw jamming. He didn't really see other things as quickly. He didn't see tamers as quickly as the other blue flare player. One thing he did see was an interesting tech choice that ended up... I got worried about it because he stunned some of my stuff. My main Greymon line, I had nothing in back, and I was kind of not seeing enough to like really wipe yet. And he went into a BT14 War Grey over Metal Grey as a tech choice. And he gained piercing and security attack +1 and swung over my other level 5 stack that was suspended that I did swing with previously. I swung over that. I went like, I think it was 14k 2 checks at security, and he hit rune mode. I only had 2 cards left in security, and he hit rune mode as the top card. I went, it's 1 check at security, mate. And it was just bad luck. His line died. He couldn't do it. He couldn't save any of the pieces because War Grey doesn't have like material save, obviously. And from there, I was able to just build up stacks in burst mode. I was able to trash through security. I couldn't get the hit for game because he stunned the line previously. But on the next turn, he didn't have anything to hit or stun with. He didn't have Metal Grey. He couldn't do anything, so he called it.
So, you personally won that one.
Yeah.
Putting you as a person on the team, your score at 3 wins and 2 losses.
Yeah.
So, because you want Amy to go next, I think you should go next though.
you think I should go next?
Yeah.
Well, I was under a lot of pressure seeing a Digimon come out. My opponent had also told
I
me
mean, we should also probably point out,
Demi V coming out.
going into this regionals, you were always saying the biggest matchup you were worried about was a Builder.
Oh, 100%. Impildra is one of my toughest matchups in any shape and form of my deck. Seeing the Demi V come out though, in the team event in round 5, I was like, oh no.
There's a reason it was like round 5 as well. They made it fun.
On top of that, I was talking with my opponent while we were playing, and he was saying he was a red-based blue hybrid in the actual event as well. So I knew he knew my deck like the back of his hand, so I was like, just adding more pressure to the thought process. Honestly, it became so tough of a fight, and like Adam was literally, he was done that quickly. He was looking over and he was seeing the pain in me trying to outplay this person.
I was just like, do what you can, it'll be okay. It's looking good for Amy. So relax, but play your best.
Honestly, so it got down to it, and again, I've never played for Crimson Blaze as much, apart from against Imperial Drum players.
So
Never comes up.
Never came up, and like it would have mattered in the last couple of things because I got his security down enough. He got my security down. He was going for game. He went up the fighter mode. He had the XV and Sting on board still, and he swung with the fighter mode. And I was like, if he hits Crimson Blaze, there's a chance. Didn't hit a single Crimson Blaze, and then proceeded to DNA and kill me.
So you ultimately lost. So that put you personally at
Four wins, one
loss.
loss.
Right,
Yeah.
so at this point, round 5 as a team, you've got 1 win, 1 loss. So it all comes down to Amy's result here. You were against Omni Ace.
However, just to let anybody know, it didn't come down to Amy's result in the actual tournament.
No.
Yeah.
In terms of suspense and stuff, we're leaving it in.
Yeah.
So Omni Ace. Any memorable stuff?
She was playing against you, sure.
It was just really sad.
Just really sad.
Really add the suspense there.
It was really sad. I felt bad for them. Because, obviously, I needed trolled it constantly, and then it left them on level 3 the whole time. So I just deleted level 3, and I just swung for security just every turn. And then every time, they just didn't have anything. I left them with nothing. It was really, really sad.
Something actually, before you go on with that, about the red hybrid matches, I did notice from the distance as well, when Amy was swinging, she was going delete your tamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it was highly amazing.
I will say also, well, before we say about this as well, the amount of times I came into the hall checking and stuff, and I would look over to try and find you guys, and I would find you because Trevor is standing up, talking to someone else, and I just look to the side and I just see Adam just over Amy's game. Just like, yeah. Not even like having to guide or anything, just I'm being involved in this game because if I stand up, I'm not allowed to coach. So I'm just making sure we do everything together as a team. We are one.
At that point, I either had lost so quick or won so quickly. I was just bored. I was just like, can I play too?
Yeah.
Can I just play your deck? But yeah, so round 5, you won.
Yeah, I
You were absolutely fine. So you went. Your final result personally was 4 wins and 1 loss as well.
Yeah.
So Adam let you know.
We carried him, yeah.
But no,
There was one point during the Omnius that was really funny. He did a search, and it was top 3 or something. Clearly, he was not seeing everything he wanted. So every card he revealed, he was just like making different facial expressions. He was like,
Yeah.
It really died inside. Like his heart was breaking.
Do you know what's even worse about that? Probably depending on the searcher they were going back on top.
The Agumon searcher will do that to you when you bottom back 3 Metal Guru Mons.
but no. So ultimately, though, as a team, you got 4 wins and 1 loss, which as a team's really good compared to like your actual main tournament results. Like,
It's real better.
and ultimately, it got you the result of 4th place, which did get top 4 pricing.
Yeah.
So ultimately, we all did really well. You, remember, your final result was 46th place.
It's my first regional.
Yeah, and my final result, like I say, I made top 8, lost there, but my final placement was 6th place, was the final result of it.
We didn't get myself, Trevor, and Amy didn't get final results in the placement of the main tournament because we did drop. But
we could have played it out, but it
if
was
we
better
played it
to
out-
sort of get our heads in the...
I assume Trevor would have came within the 100 range. Myself, I would have come fucking near the end.
If I won my last 2 games,
I was doing awful. And then
If I won my last 2 games,
Amy would
No,
have done
of
pretty well.
course not.
You had the
Of course not.
capability.
no, I would have been
of
under you
possibly-
somewhere.
Well,
What did you finish again?
46.
46. I would have probably been.
You would have been outside top 60.
Yeah, 70s probably. I would
Yeah.
say.
Where is the card?
it is in the cupboard in the white deck box.
Oh yes, there's no white deck box.
No, there is. No, that's not. I don't. That's not it.
That's not it.
That's retired in Pilgrim.
There's that white deck boxes.
Wait, that one. Yeah, that one.
Surely it would be near.
It is that one, yes.
Okay.
It is in the middle.
So the camera's a bit far away, so I can't just show it on screen. So what I'm planning on doing, because since I got top, we did get. If you want to bring that as close to the camera as it is, we did get a serialized Omnimon. I'm going to reveal the number here, but what I'm going to do is we're just going to open it up naturally and thing, and there'll be a picture that'll come on screen to show what the number is. So, because there's no way we're going to get these. I'm at one end of my living room, the camera's at the other end.
69, 69.
420.
420 is more than
420.
that.
What do we feel is going to be better? Do we want to rip off the seal on the back, the sleeve, or do we just want to take the bit off on the front?
I think we keep it in the plastic.
So we take the bit off on the front.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's see if
Can't
we
get
can
it
the
off.
bottom.
It like just like ends
We
up
just
fully
ripped
off.
this whole thing.
This is when you have to cut, and then 1 hour later you finally got it off.
I'm worried that it's gonna do what I think it's
Quickly
gonna
grab the opening sword.
There we go. We are 385 out of 500. And I love how they've actually made it marking on the stickers of digicode for the thing when you rip it off.
I was like, it was kind of when you were doing that, I was kind of thinking, oh no, this is gonna block out the number, it's not going to work.
I wonder if I can just line it up and like just try and sense it. We'll see. No, so yeah, 385. Not bad.
I'm pretty happy.
Pretty high number. But it's a very nice card. If you want, you can bring it close to the camera as well. Since you've got hold of it now. But yeah. So we.
And it's not.
Haha, it's mine now.
It's
we-
not pre-printed like all the other promo cards we got.
Yeah, it's actually it's pretty solid. So I will put this out there because I already came to the conclusion of this last night. So just so everyone's aware, you can maybe go and maybe find this in Card Market because I'm going to be selling this. It is a nice card and it would be a nice memory to keep. I've got other cards I can keep as memories and will actually use. A card like this with the price like it is, I would just put it away. I would store it. It would go in frames, and ultimately, I don't feel like it would become clutter eventually to me, in the sense of it's going to sit around do nothing. Where compared to if I sell it, like I say, I've got other things to have memories of the event. I sell it, that money can go towards other decks and things like that and stuff. So yeah, if you want to serialize that one, you can maybe go to Card Market and find it, like many others. But yeah, we've got locals in like half an hour.
I'm gonna go get my deck and start deck building.
You've got a deck to build after locals.
I also have to help Shiro get all his cards back now I've been landing on them.
Yeah.
I
Also,
won't do that often. Get all my cards back.
Oh yeah, the paladin mode.
I mean, they're all new minor stuff, but after
You can
locals,
help actually, because
we've got a deck profile to finish. For the team stuff.
Oh, you're making Leopard Mon, is it?
no. Sister mom with the puppet sister.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
Jeff with the puppet
Okay,
sister moms and using the cards that I got from the box. And
Anyway.
fixing it.
But no, yeah. So this has been like 2 hours. One final question to ask everyone: how did we feel about the best of ones in the main tournament?
Best of one suck.
Honestly, it kind of just depends. Like, you sometimes just feel like your opponent got the cards they needed and you didn't. And if you had got the cards you needed, it would have went back.
It's funny enough you say that. There was a guy. It was either in the top cut or getting close to the end of Swiss. He was sat next to me and he was sitting there bragging about, I figured out the answer to best of one. Hope your opponent breaks.
And like
And
it
literally-
happened. So
and
many
literally,
times.
you told me like you were saying about like everyone who's against is pretty much bricked. and it's just like you may as well like the way I personally see it is like you've just announced essentially I'm this high up in this tournament not because I'm a good player, not because I've got a good deck, not because I've played well, because all of my opponents' decks say.
It's why I said like next time I maybe wouldn't be taking like a meta-ish deck. I'd be maybe taking something I feel comfortable on and playing against meta decks, because like sometimes when you were playing, it felt like if I had seen a single Uko against the Imperial Digimon player, that would have been an extra swing at security, which could have changed the game. You know, stuff like that. It's like it's one of them things that you sort of go, you know what, could potentially do that.
No, I was trying to see any like Ragnar.
Yeah, like the
Ragnar is a solid one. I don't know why we didn't see it.
I didn't see
Ragnar's
surprised by that.
Brick City.
I mean, yeah, but I mean at the
No.
same time.
I think it'll be fine when you get the 2-color memory boost, and then you can search.
Yeah.
But
Bit hard with plastic.
Yeah,
the problem is we get all that stuff
don't
too
want
late,
to
and then the deck's not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna do a find out that.
But yeah, the reason I brought Dark Moss was I have 12 searchers.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you can see.
I feel like I would have been more comfortable in Mastamon in the main event just because I do have that many Gato searchers.
No, I
Well,
get
Let's get this wrapped up. We still don't have a name for this podcast because the like literally last episode.
I've been so rushed.
Well, it's not even just been so rushed. The last,
Humor for blocks, humor for game.
literally the last podcast episode went out yesterday. So we've not really had time for people to comment for names like Trevor suggested.
Yeah, I know, like, yeah, we're recording it literally as the other one went out.
No, so we're gonna go and get ready for locals. These guys, they can tell what everyone at local what they want the results to be. I'm gonna tell mine to people down there. At the very most, one thing I do say is as long as we get there quick enough and quiet enough before anyone else, or quietly when everyone else is away,
We can
we tell Ryan.
Yeah.
No, well, we can't have to tell Ryan. We used his name to promote him. We were like, we're all get top four. And then...
Well, I mean, you want to say that like the dude provided me sleeves.
I know.
To
Well,
go
we
to
were,
the
we
event.
were,
Well,
we
let
were,
him
we
know.
were representing
But
it.
yeah.
So-
Well, I hope you've all enjoyed this podcast of part 2 of kind of the pilotness, so like this testers thing. If you want to see
Pilot episode 2.
if you-
Part 2.
If you
Part
want to
dos.
see more podcasts like this on a regular basis, leave in the comments below. Let us know if there's any type of subjects and stuff you want to talk about. Maybe you want us to do tier lists, which I really don't want to, but these guys on the podcast. Like, let us know. You want to see more podcasts, more general talk and stuff, anything like that. Any particular people you want to see more of, or anything, or people you want to say go away.
Wow!
I'm saying if you've got a voice and you want to voice your opinion, you say it. Doesn't mean I'm going to listen. But yeah,
In the comments.
Ju-
We don't want you in the video.
Just to let you guys know, by the way, if she's coming, you don't want me here. I'm mostly his left everywhere, so maybe not.
I'll be honest. The only one you may get away with is the table. But no. Hope you all had a fantastic time listening or watching this podcast, wherever you try to enjoy this media with. Like I say, if you want to have more of these, put in the comments down below. We will have, so what won't be up by this point, but we will have planned, we're going to have a deck profile of our Shiro with Omni Zoo to come to the channel. By this point, we've got the top 4 list up, and we've got the top 8 list, because that is kind of time sensitive, so that's already up by this point. We're going to get a deck profile with Shiro with this Omni Zoo. So you got that look forward to, and many more things to come, because I'm really wanting to focus a bit more on this TCG channel. But yeah, you've all wonderful, you're all fantastic. Catch us all later.
Bye.